Chapter 24. Yihua casually sized up the book. This is a bit interesting, he actually bought a fake book. Qingya also saw the painting. This painting was exactly the same as the painting that was hung in Yihua's bedroom. It was Picasso's, Boy with a Tobacco Pipe. Long Outyin chuckled. It was finally his turn. Grandpa Qing was so nice, creating an opportunity for him to act cool. Long Outyin observed the oil painting carefully and exclaimed, "Could this be Picasso's work? Proud heaven really is amazing." Qing Qingren was very satisfied, and when he sneaked a glance at his eldest granddaughter, he discovered that she did not have any reaction at all. Long Outyin continued, "This painting was created in 1905, and it was one of Picasso's masterpieces from the Rose period. It was even praised by critics as being as mysterious as Da Vinci's Mona Lisa. In the end, it was auctioned in London for a whopping $100 million. Qing Huaxian smiled. Son-in-law is also a person who has seen a lot of things. Qing Qingren smiled to the point that his eyes had narrowed into a slit, and praised, "Seems like Outyan's understanding towards oil painting is very deep. It is very rare for youngsters nowadays to have this kind of ability." Long Outyan felt extremely good, as if he could already see the two beautiful sisters looking at him with worship in their eyes. "I don't deserve to be called Outyan, I only know a little about it. However, paintings like this are getting more and more expensive nowadays. I wonder how much Grandpa Qing paid for it." "Not much, just 150 million. Long Outyan was shocked in his heart. This Qing family is too rich, isn't it? A painting that is worth more than 100 million is hung in the hallway. Doesn't that mean that I will be lying in a pile of money in the future?" Just thinking about it made him excited. Looking at that man's dumbfounded expression, it was likely that he had never seen something so expensive before. "Mr. Yi, what do you think?" Long Outyan asked with a smile. Evidently, he wanted to make a fool of Yihua. "I reckon that Yihua has never seen such a painting before, right? If Yihua is unable to say anything about it, he would be losing a lot of face." Qingya went into a daze, thinking to herself, "Yihua wouldn't be lying, right? It's fake." After Yihua finished speaking, everyone went into a daze, including Qingya and Qing Yutong. Long Outyan was secretly delighted. "Keep up the act. You've gone overboard, saying it's fake, ahaha. Yihua, don't speak nonsense." Qingya pulled onto the corner of Yihua's shirt and said in a low voice. "Grandpa himself loves to collect famous paintings, and yet, you actually said that those paintings are fake. Grandpa will be very unhappy. This is not a good thing for Grandpa in the future." It must be said that Qingya had already thought very far ahead. "Right now, we are already husband and wife, and we even have a child. Could it be that in the future, we are really going to divorce and let our child become a single-parent family? Qingya can't bear to let our child grow up in this kind of environment. Perhaps, it's fine if I suffer a bit of loss myself. In any case, I also need to find a husband." Although Yihua likes to be a big boss, his heart is still considered to be good. He donated until he only has 2 RMB left. "Mr. Yi, why do you say that?" Long Outyan asked hurriedly, because Qing Qingren's face had already darkened. Yihua really wanted to send this ant flying with a slap. Truly long-winded. "However, I can't make a move. Later on, I'll let Lai Gu or Wei Chang do it. If I make a move myself, the consequences will be unimaginable." Yihua was too lazy to explain, "Qingya knows." "Ah." Everyone looked towards the adorable Qingya. "Qingya was having a headache. To actually drag me down with him, I have never seen such a bad man before." "Big sister, you also think that this is fake?" Qing Yutong asked curiously. Qingya knew that her little sister was going to hit her when she was down, and the friendship that was just formed immediately collapsed. "There is also a painting hanging in Yihua's bedroom. At this time, I can only help Yihua. Could it be that I still have to say that Yihua is in the wrong? Yihua was a bit surprised. When this woman saw the painting in my bedroom, she did not have this kind of expression. However, looking at her current expression, it is still not bad. It has a bit of flavor. Long Outyan laughed, Qing Qingren and Qing Huaxian also laughed, shook their heads and did not say anything, then continued walking towards the dining hall. Qing Yutong pouted her mouth. Big sister's condition today is a bit problematic. Isn't she being too protective of that man? Wrong. Bedroom. Big sister has been to this man's bedroom before. My God. Qingye slowed down her footsteps and said in a low voice, Yihua, later on when we are eating, I beg you to not speak carelessly. Can you listen to me? Ignorant woman. Promise me a condition. Yihua said indifferently. You. Qingye's lungs were about to explode from anger, to actually raise a condition with me. Speak. Qingye, who had no other choice, decided to admit defeat for the time being. After listening to Yihua's condition, Qingye scolded Yihua for being shameless to the extreme, to actually ask me to do that kind of thing. Bastard, give me an inch and take a foot. Enduring the pain in her heart, Qingye said coldly, all right, I promise you, if you dare to speak carelessly again, relax, I will do what I said. As if I would believe you. Qing family's dining hall was also extraordinarily big. The people who were cooking were all top chefs in the country, and there were even maids serving at the side. This was simply the life of an emperor. Yihua was a bit rueful, thinking back then, I also lived like this. I didn't expect that the more I live, whether I am advancing or retreating, I am already unclear. This utensil is even a product from Europe, and looking at the design, it is even a product of the royal family. This Qing family is indeed rich to a certain extent. Wang Muqing and Zihan supported the old lady Mei Xuanshuang and walked out, and upon seeing Yihua, Mei Xuanshuang could be seen shouting, grandson-in-law, when are you going to have a child with Yutong? Grandma is still waiting to carry a great-grandson. Yihua did not speak. If that woman wants to obtain my bloodline, she has to go and train her temperament again. Not every woman is able to obtain my favor. Qingye being able to get pregnant is just an accident. Grandma, he is my brother-in-law. Even Qing Yutong was a bit unable to take it anymore, let alone the others. Qing Yutong could only smile awkwardly. The old lady's illness was just like that. Qing Qingren sat on the main seat and said with a smile, everyone, sit down and eat. Yihua thought back in his mind, how many years has it been since I sat on a lower seat? I didn't expect that it was all because of this stupid woman. If this scene were to be spread out, it would be terrible. At that time, I can only kill her to silence her. Without a doubt, Qingye sat beside Yihua, to prevent Yihua from speaking nonsense. This man is truly a man that makes others worry. Meanwhile, Qing Yutong sat at the other side of Yihua. This brother-in-law is really interesting. I feel that he has big sister in his grasp. Long Outyan sat opposite of Yihua and Qingye, and his expression was a bit bad. Why is that man able to have beautiful women on his left and right, and yet, there isn't any at my side? Wang Muqing could tell that Long Outyan was in a bad mood, thus she glared at her daughter and said, Qingye, accompany Outyan and sit. Mom, I am a woman with a husband, how can I sit together with another man? Yihua will get angry. Qingye said calmly. Qing Huaxian shouted out gravely, enough. Even if you are acting, there must be a limit. Qingye pouted her mouth, did not explain, did not get up either. In any case, she just did not move. Chapter 25. Yutong, how long do you plan to stay this time? Zihan asked concernedly. Her daughter was not at home for a long time, she missed her a lot. Qing Yutong spread out her hands, I have already gotten the Oscar, I don't have any more pursuits, I have decided to retire and enjoy life. Qing Huaxian was very gratified, you should have done this long ago, come to Dad's company. I don't want to go, even if I am going to go. I want to go to Big Sister's company. What do you think, Big Sister? Qing Yutong really planned to retire from the entertainment circle this time. She was a woman who liked challenges. The moment she got the Oscar, she decided to retire from the entertainment circle. Up to you. Qing Yi said indifferently. Long Outyin felt that his chance had come. Qing Yutong would definitely be one of his harem. Upon thinking that he would be able to sleep with the movie queen, the hair on his body all stood up. Qing Chengren suddenly thought of something and reminded, recently, Long and City is a bit chaotic. Yaya, Yutong, you two pay attention. Grandpa, what's wrong? Did something happen? Qing Yutong asked curiously. After all, she just came back today. An international hitman died last night. Qing Chengren said unhurriedly. Qing Ye wrinkled her brows. Where did he die? It seems to be on the building opposite of Hejiang River. Opposite of Hejiang River, I and Yihua were still taking a stroll there last night. Qing Ye wrinkled her brows and took a look at Yihua. Where does Mr. Yi work? Qing Chengren asked. Qing Ye hurriedly said, Yihua opened a bar by himself. Qing Yutong went into a daze. The boss of a bar, this plot is not bad. Wang Muqing and Zihan were a bit displeased. It seems like they do not have a good impression of someone who opens a bar. Why would their daughter mix around with someone who opens a bar? Long Outyin mocked, opening a bar is not bad, it has a bright future, there must be a lot of beauties at the bar, right? Yihua decided, I must definitely slap this fly to death. Long Outyin, don't think that I don't know what you are doing in the company. What is going on between you and the director of HR? Qing Ye questioned coldly. Long Outyin was startled. How did she know about this matter? I indeed have an affair with the director of HR. That woman is indeed very charming, and speaking about me, I also conquered her with my charm. Qing Ye, you misunderstood, it's nothing. Long Outyin hurriedly explained, I'm sure that she found out that I went to her house. Qing Ye sneered and said to her family, this is the person that you all fancied. Not even a week after coming to the company, and he already had an affair with the HR department's director. You are truly capable, to be able to swindle the HR department's director even though you are just a security guard. You are truly worthy of being called the fairy doctor, hugging a beauty with both hands. The gazes of the Qing family were all focused on Long Outyin, as if they wanted to verify whether this matter was true or not. Qing Ye, you've misunderstood. Ai Bihan is a single mother, what's wrong with me helping her? Isn't the slogan of the company uniting as one? I didn't expect it to cause such a misunderstanding. I don't care about it as a man, but what will others think of Ai Bihan? Isn't this forcing her to resign? Long Outyin's words were very impassioned and passionate. Portraying himself as a super good man and saying that Qing Ye was an unreasonable person, Long Outyin still had brains. Qing Ye, how can you treat your subordinates like this? Qing Huaxian said unhappily. Qing Group and Qing Ye's Qing City International were separated, but Qing Huaxian had been taught since young that one must treat one's subordinates well, only then would he be able to repay you. Qing Ye was a smart woman, since she couldn't take out any evidence right now, everything she said would be in vain. Qing Ye was even more certain that she was being unreasonable. Big sister, Long Outyin is really playing dirty tricks right under your nose. He is too arrogant. Qing Yutong felt injustice for her big sister, but who knows if what she said was true or false. Qing Yutong's mother, Zihan reminded, Yutong, speak less. Qing Chengren seemed to be a bit irritated, all right, speak less and eat, serve the dishes. Yihua, on the other hand, had an indifferent look on his face. He was not interested in this kind of small matter at all, but he was a bit curious about the following dishes. Delicious dishes were served one after another, and with a single glance, Yihua took a fancy to that bowl of crayfish. Qing Ye was immediately startled. I feel that this fellow is going to put on airs again, and immediately said in a low voice, I'll help you get it. And that crab? Yihua said indifferently. Qingye was angered to the point of laughing. Just you wait, one day, I will definitely take revenge on you. The following scene made everyone's jaws drop. Qingye, this strong woman, actually didn't eat the crayfish herself, and instead helped this man to eat the crayfish first, and she even had a smile on her face. Is this still the Qingye from before? Qing Qingren was stupefied, Qing Huaxian was stupefied, Wang Muqing was dumbfounded, Zi Han was stupefied, Qing Yutong had a face full of shock, and on the other hand, old lady Mei Xuanshuang had a face full of smiles. Long Outyan held on to the chopsticks, and the veins on the back of his hand bulged out by a bit. What right does this man have to let Qingye peel the crayfish for him, and furthermore, he doesn't even have a bit of gratitude in his heart, as if it is something that should be done. Qing Qingren felt that something was wrong. If it was an actor that was hired by his granddaughter, he definitely wouldn't act like this. That expression of him peeling the crayfish even had the intention of fawning. What is going on with his granddaughter? Wang Muqing couldn't take it anymore and said gravely, Qingye, peel a few for Outyan as well. He isn't worthy. Qingye placed the peeled crayfish meat into Yihua's bowl, and Yihua calmly picked up his chopsticks and picked up the crayfish meat. Everything was so harmonious. Under the table, both of Long Outyan's fists were tightly clenched. No matter where I go, I will be respected by people, and only today is the day of humiliation. Qing Huaxian was already unable to suppress his anger anymore as he shouted, Qingye, you better make things clear today. Qingye wiped her hands, then took out a red booklet from her bag and directly threw it onto the table. Without waiting for everyone to react, Qing Yutong immediately snatched the booklet over and cried out in surprise, Big sister. You really got married. This can't be fake, right? Qing Qingren wrinkled his brows and said gravely, Qingye, what does this marriage certificate mean? It means what it means on the surface. Qingye appeared to be very calm. She had imagined this kind of situation countless of times in her mind. Once again, Qingye took out another marriage certificate from her bag and threw it onto the table. This is a combo, to catch the enemy unprepared. Qingye did not become a cool and elegant CEO for nothing. Qing Yutong still snatched the booklet over, and her beautiful eyes revealed out shock. This time, Big Sister is playing big, right? Wang Muqing took the booklet over, and after she finished looking at it, her expression was the same as Qing Yutong's, as if she was struck by lightning. After everyone finished looking at it, the scene immediately became quiet, and the air seemed to have frozen. Qingye actually got married with this man, and even had a child. My God! Long Outyan's expression was even more colorful. He was completely unable to accept this kind of ending. How can it be possible for Qingye to have a child? All of these are fake. How can I possibly be cuckolded? I am Long Outyan. Qingye, tell me, is all of these fake or not? All of these are made by you to anger me. Long Outyan was still struggling. His ordinary face was distorted to the point that it was a little scary. Chapter 26. Everything is true. Yihua is my husband, and we already have a child. Qingye said faintly. That's great, Yaya has a child. Mei Xuanshuang clapped her hands and shouted like a child. Bang! Qing Qingren fiercely slammed onto the table, then left with his sleeves. Qing Huaxian shouted out coldly, I don't have a daughter like you, scram. It just so happens that I also don't want to have a father like you. Qingye silently said, but only she herself knew how much pain her heart was in. Yihua, let's go. Yihua paused for a moment. As long as Qingye is willing, I can exterminate them and help prevent her anger. Yeah, Looking at her daughter's departing figure, Wang Muqing hurriedly shouted. Qing Huaxian said coldly, you are not allowed to call her, if not you can follow her out. Huaxian, Qingye must have been bewitched by that man. Don't plead for her anymore, it's a misfortune for our family. I, Qing Huaxian, will just take it that I have never given birth to such a daughter. Qing Yutong poured a cup of wine for herself, then drank it in one gulp. Big sister is too awesome, this move of yours is truly amazing. Uncle Qing, I will take my leave first. Long Outyan couldn't sit still anymore, he felt that his entire body was about to explode. This damnable Qingya actually made me a cuckold. Qing Huaxian said painfully, Outyan, uncle has let you down. Long Outyan was also a person who had his own pride. Turning around, Long Outyan left. Qing Huaxian let out a sigh. Such a promising young man is going to leave just like that. Qing Huaxian looked at his little daughter. Dad, don't look at me, believe it or not, I will also casually find a man and give birth to a child. Qing Yutong still did not know what her father was thinking, and immediately cut off his thoughts. Zihan shouted, Yutong, speak properly to your father. Forget it, I'm leaving too. Bye-bye. Qing Huaxian was angered to the point that he held onto his chest and muttered, my family is so unfortunate, why did I give birth to daughters like this, not a single one of them is not a worry, if only I had a boy. Wang Muqing and Zihan took a look at each other, both of them were helpless. Outside, Long Outyan was sitting in his Passat, smoking furiously. He couldn't let this matter go just like that. Yihua and Qingya, just you wait. Since I am unable to get Qingya, there is still Qing Yutong, this woman. Although she doesn't plan to mingle in the entertainment circle anymore, but right now, her fame is still very big, and it wouldn't be a loss of face for her to become my first wife. However, today, I have to properly display my ability. Not only do I have to make Qingya regret, I also have to make Qing Yutong fall in love with me. Thinking of this, Long Outyan picked up his phone, found Lord Zhou's number, and called him. When the call went through, Long Outyan smiled and asked, Lord Zhou, how's the prescription I gave you last time? Zhou Ye's forthright voice sounded from the phone, so it is little brother Outyan, you don't say, after I used the prescription that you gave me, it is not a problem for me to come 3 times in one night, it is as if I have become the young lad from that year. Lord Zhou, I have an even better prescription here. Lord Zhou, if you take it, you'll be fine for the whole night. I guarantee that the ladies will beg for mercy, Long Outyan said with a grin. Oh. Little brother Outyan, you are not kind and honest, to only tell Zhou Yi now. Zhou Yi misunderstood, I only found out about this prescription recently. How smart was Lord Zhou, he knew that this youngster wanted him to do something for him. Speak, what is it? Lord Zhou, I want to ask you to help me. Hearing Long Outyan's narration, it seems like he wants me to send people to rob the other party, and then he will come out to save the other party. Small matter. Thank you Lord Zhou, I will send you the car plate number later, the location is at the Fork Road in the northern suburbs. Long Outyan twisted his neck, I have to move my muscles and bones later. Alright, leave it to Lord Zhou. After hanging up the phone, Long Outyan looked towards Yihua and Qingya who came out and clenched his fists tightly. I, Long Outyan, will not let down this name of mine. When I become strong, it will be the anniversary of your death. On the other side, Lord Zhou made a call to his underling, ask some people to go down and put on a show later. Lord Zhou, what show? Heroes Saving the Beauty, I will send the car plate number and address to you later. Lord Zhou said. Which hero is who, so that we can go easy on him? Lord Zhou went into a daze, a youngster who looks like he has a lot of temperament, and is also a bit handsome. Alright Lord Zhou, temperament, handsome, understood. The show has to be realistic, do you understand? Lord Zhou, don't worry, I guarantee that other people will not be able to tell. After hanging up the phone, the underling immediately gathered tens of people and headed towards the northern suburbs. In the manner, Yihua looked at the stubborn Qingya, and his tone became a bit gentler, I guess. You don't need to care. Qingya, who was currently in a fit of anger, her tone became a bit heavy, causing Yihua to be very angry. I can't give this woman any face at all. Yihua couldn't be bothered to care, you just have to obediently give birth to a child for me. Sitting in the front passenger seat, Yihua said, drive, let's go back. Qinya glared at Yihua, seemingly saying, it's fine if other people bully me, but even you want to hit me when I'm down too. Big sister, brother-in-law, wait for me. Qing Yutong could be seen dragging her luggage and waving her hand towards Yihua's direction. Qinya sighed, if I had known earlier, I would have listened to Yihua's words and drove away. What are you trying to do? Qinya asked gravely. Qing Yutong spread out her hands, what else can I do? Of course I'm going to stay with you, big sister. Qinya's brows wrinkled, isn't it good to stay at Grandpa and Grandma's place? If you are not used to staying here, big sister can go to a hotel and get a room for you, or buy a house for you. Big sister, it has been a long time since we last stayed together, do a good deed and take this little sister in. Qing Yutong shook her big sister's arm and entered into an endless coquettish mode. Qinya wouldn't fall for it, I was cheated countless times when I was young. I will give you a call to arrange it. Seeing that her big sister was useless, Qing Yutong immediately begged Yihua, who was smoking at the side, brother-in-law, just say some good words please. Isn't it just an extra bed, what are you being so long-winded about? Yihua said impatiently, this small matter also needs to be long-winded. Qinya was instantly stupefied, an extra bed. Do you think that it is such a simple matter as an extra pair of chopsticks? Qing Yutong immediately threw the luggage into the trunk of the car, then sat at the back seat, fastened her seatbelt, and obediently waited. That sitting posture of hers was simply the model representative of a good student. I originally thought that the retirement would be very boring, but in the end, I found out that big sister actually had a child with a man and even got married. There is nothing more interesting than this. Is this the distortion of human nature or the degeneration of morals in this matter? The two of you get off, this is my car. Qinya, who was flustered and exasperated, was already speaking incoherently. Yihua said indifferently, not getting off. Brother-in-law is not getting off, I am also not getting off. Qing Yutong said pitifully, the title of Best Actress is not for show. Chapter 27. However, Yihua and Qing Yutong were very calm and collected, and were not afraid at all. Long Aotian, who was at the back, hurriedly drove his car, and he didn't expect that Qing Yutong did not drive his own car. The plan has changed, it seems like it is too late to inform Qing Yutong now. Yihua, who was in the car, said, remember what you promised me tonight. Without waiting for Qinya to reply, Qing Yutong, who was at the back, asked curiously, brother-in-law, what matter did big sister promise you that we can only do it at night? Wow, the two of you are so romantic. Qinya's face darkened and did not say anything. Yihua said lightly, you will know when the time comes. Oh my god, can you even show it to people? You guys are so open-minded. The two of you, enough. Qinya couldn't help but shout out. Suddenly, Qing Yutong cried out in surprise, big sister. There's someone ahead. Zzzzzzz, the tires left 2 tire marks on the ground. If it wasn't an Audi, the idiot in front of him would have been sent flying. Oh, my forehead. Qing Yutong touched onto her head. Yihua's face was cold as he shouted, don't you know how to drive properly? I won't. Bite me. Stupid woman. Qing Yutong, who was at the back, was observing the fight between brother-in-law and big sister. This is too interesting. There were more than 10 big men standing outside, and the atmosphere was a little awkward. Did the people in the car not notice anything wrong? Highway robbery. Give me some face, okay? That's right, at the critical moment just now, this little brother received the latest report. The Ferrari had been changed to an Audi A8. One of the lackeys knocked on the window of the car, and Qing Yutong had a frustrated look on her face as she lowered the window and said, don't be noisy, I am watching my brother-in-law and big sister quarrel. However, as soon as the window was opened, they could hear the sound of quarreling coming from inside. You asked Yutong to move in. Do you have any thoughts about her? So what if I do? Didn't you say you were going to give me condoms? Hearing that, Qing Yutong was dumbstruck. Big sister, brother-in-law, you two are too bad. Quickly let me off the bus. This is not the bus that is going to the kindergarten. Shut up. Qing Yu turned around and shouted angrily. Qing Yutong pouted her mouth. Big sister, you are going to give me and brother-in-law condoms. You are so perverted. Scram. Qing Yu felt that she was going to explode. However, more than 10 men outside were listening with great interest. The people in the car were all hardcore. Elder sister, brother-in-law, and sister-in-law. This relationship was too messy. The world of the rich was really hard to understand. Long Outyin watched from afar. He noticed that the dozen or so men were surrounding the car, but they did not make a move. It was as if they were listening to something. After waiting for a long time, they became more and more excited. You guys are here to work, not to listen to family gossip. How dare you? What are you doing in broad daylight? Long Outyin appeared in a dazzling manner. His aura was magnificent, and his whole body was emitting a wave of positive energy. The dozen or so burly men glanced at each other and then looked at the man in the car. After comparison, they still felt that the man in the car was more elegant and handsome. It was just that he was a busybody. You guys go and deal with him, don't let any Tom, Dick or Harry come here. I have never heard such an interesting quarrel before. As the big brother, he ordered the three of them to go and deal with Long Outyin. As for the three of them, they were reluctant to leave. It was all this damned man's fault. Why did he suddenly appear? Long Outyin wrinkled his brows. Why haven't the people in the car come down yet? If that's the case, what's the point of fighting? Brothers, what's going on with you guys? Why aren't you letting the people in the car come down? Long Outyin reminded in a low voice. Get down. One of the burly men raised his fist and punched over. Long Outyin easily dodged to the side and grabbed onto the burly man's arm, then hurriedly said, Brothers, I am the one who hired you guys. Boss, save me. The burly man shouted for help. We have met with a troublesome person. Seeing the situation, the boss became angry. To actually spoil my plan, brothers, go. The dozen or so burly men picked up their clubs and ran madly, and Yihua who was in the car was also too lazy to quarrel with Qingya. He got off the car to take a breath of fresh air and smoke a cigarette. You guys, quickly look over there, there is a fight. Qing Yutong cried out in surprise. Qingya snorted coldly. Of course I saw it. Isn't that little brother Long Outyin? He seems to be very powerful. Qing Yutong looked around, and her mouth didn't stop moving. Long Outyin noticed the situation at this side and finally got off the car. Furthermore, after getting Qing Yutong's attention, he immediately shouted out, Yutong, quickly leave this place to me. What are you saying? I can't hear you, Qing Yutong shouted out. I said, leave these scoundrels to me, quickly leave this place, Long Outyin was distracted, and a fist came flying over. I say, brother, we are just putting on a show, there is no need to be so ruthless, right? The boss shouted out, who is putting on a show with you, beat him to death. You guys. Don't blame me for being impolite then. A powerful aura could be seen bursting out from Long Outyan's body, and with every punch, he looked like a god that had descended to the mortal world. Brothers, this idea is a bit ruthless, take out your weapons. The boss finally spoke, and 2 or 3 burly men could be seen taking out their AKs from the car and shooting randomly at Long Outyin. Long Outyin turned pale with fright. If my dragon god technique was trained to the pinnacle, I wouldn't even be afraid of missiles, but right now, I have only just started, I still can't take bullets, I can only dodge. Yihua flicked away the cigarette but in his hand, not interested to continue watching. Sitting in the car, Qingye didn't want to watch anymore. This show is too terrible. Long out Yen, go for it. You can do it. Qing Yutong waved her hand and sat in the back seat, then the three of them drove away. Long out Yen was in despair. You guys should at least call the police for me. Luckily I made 2 ground escape talismans, if not I would have died here today. I didn't expect that I, Long out Yen, would have such a day. I have really ruined the name of Fairy Doctor. I am an expert that treats people with my left hand and kills people with my right hand, just that I have not matured yet. Ground escape talisman. Long out Yen, who was still dodging left and right just a moment ago, suddenly disappeared. The group of burly men were all stupefied. What is going on? The plan was ruined by this brat. I will definitely be scolded by Jiu Yi when I return, damn passerby A. Long out Yen, who had just finished using the ground escape talisman, let out a sigh of relief. Looking at the surrounding environment, it's hazy. What a big fog. I can't have arrived at that mountain right. Ah! Who are you? Hearing a tender shout, Long out Yen was immediately startled. So this is the bathroom. Seems like my, Long out Yen's, luck with women is still normal. I am Long out Yen, may I know this lady's name? The woman was stupefied. Lady, I saw that your face was red just now, and now it is gradually turning pale. This is the symptom of your body being weak. If you don't mind, I can personally check your pulse. Scram! The woman let out a tender shout. Long out Yen straightened his bangs. The plot is always the same, on the other side. Chapter 28. Very quickly, Qingye stopped the car at the side of the bar. Without paying attention to anyone, Qingye directly opened the door, got off the car and walked into the bar. After Yihua got off the car, he lit up a cigarette and prepared to enter the house. Qing Yutong hurriedly shouted, "Brother-in-law, my luggage is very heavy, can you help me a bit?" "I can't." Yihua took a deep breath and said faintly. Without even turning his head back, he walked into leisure bar, leaving behind the silly Qing Yutong. This brother-in-law of mine is too awesome, he doesn't play by the rules. While carrying her luggage, Qing Yutong walked into leisure bar, and seeing that Yihua was mixing a drink at the bar counter, she didn't care about her luggage anymore, sat on the high chair, and asked with a curious look on her face, "Brother-in-law, I want a drink." "Take it yourself." "I want to drink this cup of yours." Qing Yutong pointed at the wine that Yihua had concocted in his hand and said. Yihua pushed out the bright red wine in his hand. "I have drugged this wine. If you aren't afraid, you can drink it." "TSK, you are speaking as if I will believe you," Qing Yutong said in disdain, then picked up the wine cup and raised her head. Then, she took a glance at Yihua. This fellow couldn't have really drugged me, right? I'm a virgin, they must definitely be working together. No wonder Big Sister said that she would send condoms over. Forget it, I don't want to drink anymore, Qing Yutong said with a slight smile. Yihua laughed lightly. This Qing Yutong's courage is too small, she isn't even as big as Qingye's. Picking up the wine cup, Yihua drank the wine in one gulp. Comfortable. He felt much better. Qing Yutong discovered that she was deceived, and a feeling of defeat arose in her heart. Thinking about how I am also an international celebrity, and furthermore, I am an Oscar Best Actress. She was actually fooled by a handsome guy, what a shame. The paintings here are really beautiful. Qing Yutong immediately changed the topic to avoid being ridiculed. Ever since I met brother-in-law, I have been ridiculed countless of times. You want it? Take anything you want, Yihua said faintly. Qing Yutong clicked her tongue. I don't want to strangle you, it's all fake. Women are just childish and stupid. After placing down the wine cup, Yihua walked upstairs, because there was a matter that he wanted Lai Gu or Wei Chang to go and deal with. "Brother-in-law, where do I sleep?" Qing Yutong shouted anxiously. "Whatever." Qing Yutong scratched her hair. "This brother-in-law of mine is really not bad, he is still so calm when facing my enticement. I have to go and ask big sister, how did she meet this weirdo brother-in-law?" Arriving at the office, Yihua did not turn on the television. Instead, he contacted Lai Gu and Wei Chang. A human and a dog instantly appeared in the office. Just that, Lai Gu was letting out panting sounds, seemingly like he was working on something. Yihua was truly unable to watch on anymore. "Is this dragon in heat?" With a wave of his hand, Lai Gu disappeared. Out of sight, out of mind. "Your Honor, Lai Gu is becoming more and more like a dog." Wei Chang smiled respectfully. Yihua waved his hand. "Let's not talk about it first. Today, I met a person who made me unhappy, you go and deal with him." Wei Chang was very puzzled. To be able to make his honor angry, it seems like only the madam is capable of doing that. Could it be that his honor has lost his humanity again? This was a big matter, and he had to persuade him properly. "Your Honor, Madam still doesn't know of your identity," and thus, she spoke a bit rashly. "Your Honor, you should forgive her, only then will she be able to show her humanity." Wei Chang persuaded in a low voice. "What are you talking about?" Yihua asked coldly. Wei Chang went into a daze. "Didn't your Honor tell me to go and deal with Madam?" Yihua was angered to the point of laughing. Holding on to his forehead, he said, "Wei Chang, ah Wei Chang, why is it that after so many years, you are still brainless? Although I told you to go and get rid of the assassin organization, don't you know that there is another way to solve this problem? Control them and make them work for us. Every time I ask you to do something, you always kill all of them. Don't you know that you left one of them as a puppet?" Wei Chang had a frightened look on his face as he immediately knelt down. "Your Honor, subordinate is slow-witted. It's like this every time." Yihua was speechless. "If we were a bit smarter, we wouldn't have been wiped out by the assassin organization back then." Wei Chang lowered his head and remained silent. Using the old method, as long as I don't speak, his Honor's anger will disappear. This person is Qing Ya's fiancé, his name is Long Outyan. His strength is very weak, and he calls himself something like Fairy Doctor. Yihua said helplessly, in case he was really stupid enough to go and get rid of Qing Ya. "Congratulations, Your Honor, congratulations, Your Honor." Wei Chang suddenly had a happy look on his face as he shouted out. This caused Yihua to be puzzled. "What are you congratulating me for?" "Congratulations to Your Honor for obtaining another humanity." "Oh. What?" Yihua asked curiously. "Jealousy." Hearing that, Yihua went into a daze, then his entire face darkened. "Scram, idiot. All of you are a bunch of idiots." Wei Chang didn't have the slightest bit of fear on his face. His Honor's reaction right now is exactly the same as the black-bellied male lead in those television dramas. With a smile on his face, Wei Chang disappeared within the black void. It is a good thing that his Honor has humanity. After calming down, Yihua turned on the television. Only the Calabash brothers saving Grandpa can make my heart calm down. Damn it. Why are there a bunch of idiots around me? It's fine if my subordinates are idiots, but my women are also idiots as well. If not forget it. Endure it. Wei Chang, who disappeared, appeared in his rented apartment. There wasn't any luxurious furniture in the apartment, on the contrary, the apartment was very ordinary. In Longtan City, this kind of apartment only costs 1,000 RMB per month. Of course, the apartment was furnished along with the furniture. There were 2 bedrooms and 1 living room in the apartment, and the decoration was also very ordinary. As one of the 7 sins, Wei Chang seemed to be very low profile. Wei Chang let out a breath, then summoned out Evil Spirit Death Mage. Master. Death Mage respectfully knelt on the ground and waited for Wei Chang's orders. Wei Chang poured a cup of water and burped, "Go and kill a person called Long Out Yin. I will solemnly obey Master's orders." Death Mage respectfully accepted the order, then immediately disappeared from the room, as if he had never appeared before. However, when Death Mage appeared once again, he was practically blinding. This was a small villa that was luxuriously decorated. Expensive furniture could be seen everywhere. With just a look, one could tell that this was the home of a nouveau riche. Death Mage placed the side that was in his hand at the side and took out a few bottles of beer from the fridge. After taking the beer, Death Mage sat on the sofa and turned on the television. There wasn't any Calabash Brothers on the television, but the ball went in. 3-2. Real Madrid took the lead. Listening to the excited commentary on the television, Death Mage let out a strange laughter, which couldn't help but make one's hair stand on end. Suddenly remembering that he still had important matters to attend to, Death Mage stretched out his hand and shouted faintly, "Death Assassin." A person could be seen walking out from the void. The person's appearance couldn't be seen, it was very strange. "Master. Go and kill a man called Long Out Yin. If you don't have any information, look for him yourself." Death Mage said silently, then opened a bottle of beer and started drinking. Just that, the beer passed through the skeleton and dripped onto the sofa, but Death Mage felt very refreshed and even burped. Death Assassin said respectfully, "Yes." Chapter 29. That's right. Every time he did something, Wei Chang would summon Death Mage, and when Death Mage found out that the opponent was too weak, he would simply summon a lackey to kill the opponent. And every time he killed the opponent, the master did not ask for money, so Wei Chang would not be polite and kept all the cash. Right now, he was living in a villa, and as long as he got some fresh air, he would sit here and watch the match, and let his lackey do the work. Just that, watching the match would also make him very angry. If the team that he liked were to lose, he would really want to burn the team with fire. Just that, the target this time was not an ordinary person, but the fairy Dr. Long Out Yin. He was the kind of person who treated people with his left hand and killed people with his right hand. Not sure if a single death assassin would be able to deal with him. Furthermore, without any information, how am I supposed to find him? Then you are underestimating Death Assassin too much. There were a few times when there was no information, but Death Assassin still found the target and made the target die from an accident or some other reason. In any case, no one would be able to tell that it was a murder, it was simply invincible. Wei Chang also did not expect that the lackey that he summoned would actually also summon his lackey to do things, too lazy. Yihua also definitely did not expect that his lackey would summon his lackey to do things. Do you all have to be so lazy? Who did you all learn this bad habit from? Unknowingly, the sun gradually set. Yihua took out his phone and ordered takeout. At the same time, he was thinking, as my woman, she actually doesn't even know how to cook. Don't all human women know how to cook for men? This Chinya needs to be properly taught. I'm just afraid that during the process of teaching, I won't be able to control myself. After ordering the takeout, Yihua was also puzzled. Why did this woman suddenly become so quiet in the afternoon? Unable to hold back the curiosity in his heart, Yihua pushed open the door and walked out, then opened the bedroom door. Qingye and Qing Yutong could be seen sitting on his bed watching a movie, and on the bed, there were all kinds of snacks scattered on the blanket. Yihua, who had a serious obsession with cleanliness, immediately became furious. The veins on his forehead bulged out frighteningly. Qingye, I will give you 1 minute to clean up, and you too. Yihua pointed at the two stupid women and shouted. Actually, if it was another man, he definitely wouldn't scold them, because they looked so alluring, and they were even wearing pajamas. Qingye pouted, what are you being so fierce for? Qin Yutong pouted. This brother-in-law of mine really starts scolding whenever he doesn't agree with me. He is simply a weirdo. The two women obediently cleaned the bed, because they didn't like the bed either, and they just wanted to discuss Yihua a bit. However, their goal was indeed achieved. Yihua walked over and took a look. There was actually still oil stains on the blanket, and he could not stand it. The quilt has been changed, the bed sheets have also been changed. Change the pillow too. Yihua shouted out gravely. Running to the bed even when eating snacks, Yihua is so stupid that his heart is aching. Qin said in displeasure, Yihua, that's enough from you, isn't it just a small mark? Are you going to trade or not? Yihua shouted out angrily. Even Qin Yutong was taken aback. These two are for real. He had thought that it was a joke. This was way too scary. Brother-in-law, don't be angry, I will change it. Qin Yutong was still quite sensible, while Qin crossed her arms across her chest and snorted coldly. Look at your little sister, which part of you is comparable to her? Yihua couldn't help but shout out. Qin went into a daze for a moment, then shouted out, then go and look for her to give birth to your child. Why are you looking for me? After finished speaking, Qin covered her face and ran out. Brother-in-law, you are really... Qin Yutong was speechless. Who in the world would strike a blow on someone like you? Although I am indeed more capable than big sister by a bit, but you don't have to say it so straightforwardly. Yihua, who had a stomach full of anger, wished that he could explode the earth to vent his anger. I only need to say a few sentences to her and she is already flying away. Why are women so troublesome? Yihua, who was helpless, could only chase after her. What if this foolish woman is unable to think of a solution and decides to perish together with my child? Grabbing onto Qin, who was about to walk out of the bar, Yihua said gravely, have you messed around enough? Let go of me, from today onwards, I don't know you anymore. Qin put on a stern face, and her tone was close to the temperature below zero. Qin Yutong hid at the side and observed. These two people are too interesting, perhaps I can go and write a novel. It will definitely become popular. Even if you don't want to know me anymore, you have to give birth to my child. Yihua's tone was even more so. All the women who dared to be arrogant in front of me in the past had all become pink skeletons, and only this woman did not become pink skeletons. Qin sneered, I regret, I will learn from you. Qin. Speak properly. Yihua looked coldly at the woman in front of him and discovered that he was already on the verge of collapsing, and the demon in his heart was currently devouring the remaining humanity in his heart. Qin's eyes could be seen instantly turning red, and she shouted while choking with sobs, how did I not speak properly? It is all because you are looking for things to do. You are the most scoundrel man that I have ever seen, you are even more of a scoundrel than that Long-Out Yin. Brother-in-law, big sister, the two of you quarreled from home all the way here, haven't you two quarreled enough? My ears are going to ring soon. Qin Yutong stood out to adjust the atmosphere, she was the most experienced in this. Shut up. Shut up. Qin Yutong pursed her sexy lips and immediately hid. Brother-in-law and big sister's current battle strength is already enough to fight against Thanos. Looking at Qin's stubborn expression, Yihua's heart softened. However, as a supreme overlord, how can I lower my head to a woman? That is definitely not possible. I ordered takeout. Yihua said lightly, his tone became much calmer. Qin Yutong thought that brother-in-law would be stubborn to the end, and I didn't expect that brother-in-law would actually admit defeat. This is a bit interesting. Qin naturally knew that now that I know that I am in the wrong, where did my ability to scold people go? Seeing that Qin was not speaking, Yihua said beside Qin's ear, did you forget about the matter that you promised me? You. Qin was angered to the point that she hammered Yihua's chest with her small fists, while Yihua hugged onto Qin's waist and brought her upstairs, leaving behind the stupefied Qin Yutong. That's it. Big sister is too weak, coaxing her with just a few words. Just a moment ago, they were still trying to kill each other. These two people are both weirdos. Looking at the 10 kilograms crayfish in front of her, Chinya was a bit absent-minded. This shameless scoundrel, he actually wanted me to help him peel 10 kilograms crayfish, and I even agreed to it. Looking at my tender and delicate hands, after peeling 10 kilograms of crayfish, even my hands will be gone. Yihua sat like a big boss. Looking at Chinya's helpless look, he felt very happy in his heart. I suddenly discovered that this woman is actually able to affect my emotions. This is too strange. Qin Yutong wore her gloves, drank a mouthful of fruit juice first, then looked at the two weirdos in front of her and asked, "Why aren't you two taking action?" "I won't be polite then." Towards this sister-in-law, Yihua let her be, but Chinya was different. "As my woman, the mother of my child. In the future, Chinya will be the biggest woman in the world. If I don't teach her properly now, how am I going to bring her out to see the world in the future? It would be good if I don't throw away all of my face." "Big sister, what are you daydreaming for? This crayfish is not bad, it's super delicious." Qin Yutong discovered that with brother-in-law as a link, the relationship between her and big sister seemed to have become better. This is really strange. Chapter 30. Looking at how her big sister didn't even eat the food and gave all the food to her brother-in-law to eat, Qin Yutong was dumbstruck. Were they quarreling just now? Obviously, it was brother-in-law who admitted defeat first. Why did it make it seem like sister was the one who was afraid? Yihua was still very satisfied with Chinya tonight. "I feel a bit like someone's wife." Gradually, half of the crayfish was gone. Chinya wrinkled her eyebrows and continued to peel the crayfish. However, right now, her fingers were already a little painful. After all, those hands of hers in the past were carefully taken care of, and adding on that her skills in peeling crayfish were not up to par. Chinya was this kind of woman, she would do what she said, no matter how bitter it was, she would still complete her promise. "Done." Yihua shouted faintly, then passed the prawn meat in his bowl to Chinya. The stubborn Chinya didn't give Yihua face at all. She picked up the prawn meat and put it back, then continued to peel the prawn meat. Qin Yutong lightly sighed. Big sister is still as stubborn as before. Yihua didn't say anything. He seemed to have discovered another strong point of Chinya. Perhaps, Chinya isn't that stupid anymore. Finally, Chinya finished peeling all of the crayfish, and the crayfish meat in Yihua's bowl was filled to the brim. Looking at her fingers that had turned red, Chinya felt very sad as she felt a burning sensation on her fingers. "Eat a bit." Yihua passed his bowl to Chinya and said lightly, "At least you have some conscience." Chinya took off her glove, picked up a piece of prawn meat and placed it into the gravy, stirred it for a bit, then ate it in satisfaction. "This is truly delicious." Yihua silently gazed at Chinya. Just a moment ago, Chinya had a sad look on her face, but after eating a piece of prawn meat, she looked as if she was about to become drunk. Qin Yutong felt that coming here today was the right choice. The two of them were truly too much fun. "Sis, how about we go watch a movie later? Avengers 3, it's super cool," Qin Yutong suggested. "I also really want to go and film the movie, but it's a pity that I don't have a role in it. It's a tragedy. It's not possible to forcefully add a hero into the movie, right?" Chinya, who was eating the prawn, said faintly, "Ask him." "Brother-in-law, let's go. It is very nice to watch. When a big celebrity starts acting coquettishly, no man would be able to resist her." He felt that Chinya's performance today was not bad and should be rewarded, sure. "That's true, big sister, let's go and prepare. I have to go fully armed," Qin Yutong said excitedly, completely unaware of the fact that Yihua had already tacitly agreed to be the head of the family, and everything that Qin Yutong did had to go through Yihua's approval before she could do anything. Yihua took out a tissue and wiped his mouth, then stood up and sat on the sofa. Today, Qinya was already cleaning the house, and Yihua was feeling extremely gratified in his heart. This is developing in a good direction, and furthermore, after cleaning the house today, Qinya didn't complain at all. Not bad, not bad. Qinya laughed tenderly in her heart. Do you think that I have become a lot more obedient? Let me tell you, Yihua, this is all an illusion. Bastard, he actually dared to instruct me to peel so many crayfish. I will definitely take revenge for this. Since his sister-in-law wanted to dress up, Yihua gave up the bedroom and came to the office to smoke. I wonder if that Long Outyen has been dealt with yet. Evidently, it would not be that fast. Although Death Assassin had superb searching abilities, he still needed time, and he did not have Wei Chang's abnormal strength. After continuously smoking 2 cigarettes, Yihua became a bit impatient. Is there a need to dress up for such a long time? Do you think this is a beauty contest? To actually make me wait for such a long time. Standing up and leaving the office, Yihua directly pushed open the door and arrived at the bedroom. Qinya could be seen sitting at the side, holding onto a mirror and carefully dressing up. Yihua couldn't help but say, "You are already beautiful enough, is there a need to dress up for such a long time?" Qinya paused for a moment, then looked at Yihua and said faintly, "Am I really that beautiful?" Yihua wrinkled his brows. This woman likes to ask questions that she already knows the answer to. Don't make me answer such a stupid question. Is this question very stupid? The bathroom door could be seen being opened, and another Qinya walked out. Yihua was a bit surprised. After taking a look at the 2 Qinya, I am actually unable to differentiate them with my naked eyes. This Qin Yutong is not bad. However, what I can be sure of is that this Qinya who came out from the bathroom is the real Qin Yutong, and the one who put on makeup is Qin Yutong. Just now, when Qinya was going to the bathroom, she heard the conversation outside. This fellow said that I am beautiful, at least you are tactful. You even know how to say a few nice words, but thinking about how my little sister put on makeup to look like me again, my head hurts. In actuality, the 2 sisters do have some degree of similarity. Both of them have a height of 1.75 m, and their body figures are about the same as well. Adding on that Qin Yutong's makeup skills are able to pass off as the real Qin Yutong, even Yihua was fooled, let alone other people. Right now, when the 2 of them stand together, they look just like the same person. Qin Yutong even had to imitate their hairstyle and clothes. Simple ponytail, white t-shirt, slim-fitting jeans, pure yet not sexy, especially the height of the 2 women, which created a pair of extremely long and beautiful legs. It was simply blinding. Yihua discovered that this Qin Yutong's acting skills were indeed not bad, to be able to imitate even Qinya's expression. If he really wanted to find a difference, then he could only look at the curve of the chest. Qinya's chest was normal, while Qin Yutong's chest was more well-developed. If not, it would really be very hard to differentiate them, unless he used his ability. Why are you pretending to look like me again? Qinya shouted at her little sister. When I was studying, my little sister always liked to pretend to look like me and do evil things, and in the end, I would have to take the blame. My little sister is simply too bad. Qin Yutong immediately smiled, and her composure immediately collapsed. Holding onto her big sister's arm, she said cutely, "Big sister, we are sisters, it is normal for us to look alike. If not, even if I put on makeup, it would still be useless. Moreover, if I don't pretend to look like big sister, who else can I pretend to look like?" Speaking up to here, Qin Yutong became a bit sorrowful. The acting skills of a movie queen came again. Although Qinya didn't really like this little sister, at the very least, she was still a little sister, and they were related by blood. Just this once. Enbo, Qin Yutong gave a kiss to Qinya. Qinya felt very uncomfortable. She discovered that her little sister had changed a lot after coming back this time. Yihua looked at the 2 beautiful sisters fooling around indifferently. There was not a bit of ripple in his heart. even if he was facing such an erotic scene. Let's go. Yihua said indifferently, I don't like to drag things out. Qinya shouted out, we are all not in a hurry, what are you, a grown man, being in a hurry for? Yihua did not speak, I really don't want to quarrel with this woman, it will only pull down my IQ. Right now, it was 7 p.m., according to the situation in the past, leisure bar would have gradually become popular, but when Yihua took a look today, at least half of the customers were gone. What's going on? Could it be that I am being targeted by someone? Seeing the boss appear, all of the women that were sitting at the bar exclaimed in admiration endlessly, the boss is so handsome. However, when they saw the pair of beautiful sisters coming down from upstairs, their faces that were still exclaiming in admiration just a moment ago immediately darkened. In the past, the boss was alone, although there was no hope, at least there was still hope. Right now, the boss is smitten with the pair of beautiful sisters, and furthermore, seeing such beautiful sisters for the first time, they immediately did not have the mood to continue staying here. In just a few seconds, the 4 to 5 women left, and they even snorted coldly. Chapter 31. Qinya could be seen walking forward, hugged onto Yihua's arm and said, my dear, let's go quickly. Seeing that, Qing Yutong immediately understood her big sister's intention. She wants to cause trouble and make brother-in-law go bankrupt, interesting. Qing Yutong also hugged onto Yihua's other arm and said softly, brother-in-law, let's go quickly, it is going to start soon. In just a moment, more than 10 women could be seen turning around and walking away, leaving behind only 3 customers. From their expressions, it seems like they are only here to get drunk. Wei Chang sighed, if this goes on, I will really go bankrupt. The waiters and security guards in the bar were also helpless. Ever since the boss openly brought women back, the business had not been that good. And now, he brought 2 women back at once, and they were even twins, how could others not be angry? After all, the women who came here to drink were all here for the boss. Looking at the boss and the twins, Tang Wei's heart had already calmed down a lot, seemingly no longer infatuated with the boss. Turning her head and looking at Wei Chang, she felt that Uncle Wei was much more amiable than the boss, considerate and caring, and also a handsome uncle type. Satisfied? Yihua said gravely. Qinya and Qing Yutong immediately let go of Yihua's arm, and as if nothing had happened, they walked forward with large strides. In the past, just Qinya alone was already troublesome enough, and now, there is also a sister-in-law. I feel that she is not a good person either. If I knew this would happen, I wouldn't have let her come. Qinya did not make a mistake this time, having more beds is not that simple. Coming to the outside of leisure bar, Yihua looked around. In the past, the bar would be packed with people at this time, and now, it is actually so bleak. Qinya secretly took a glance at Yihua, feeling great from head to toe. I will anger you bastard to death. Do you really think that I am easy to mess with? Let me peel crayfish, I will make you go bankrupt. Drive. Qinya said to her little sister, and Qing Yutong spread out her hands. The 2 sisters sat at the front, while Yihua sat at the back like a big boss. Wanting to teach Qinya a good lesson is simply too difficult. This is really a headache. I didn't expect that there would be a day where I would be troubled over a woman. 10+ minutes later, everyone arrived at the All Things shopping center. Inside, there was a one-stop service of eating, drinking, and playing. All Things Cinema was also a high-end cinema. A movie ticket cost around 100 RMB. To ordinary consumers, it was really a luxury. However, this time, Avengers 3 was screening, and for the sake of pursuing high-quality enjoyment, a lot of people came here to watch it. If it wasn't for Qing Yutong having booked the tickets online in advance, it was reckoned that there wouldn't be any seats left. When Yihua brought Qinya and Qing Yutong and appeared in the shopping mall, everyone stopped their footsteps and revealed a look of shock in their eyes, because this pair of twins looked too alike. It was as if they were the same person, and the important point was that they were very beautiful. With a model-like height of 1.75 meters, she was destined to have a pair of long and beautiful legs that could be used for a lifetime. Although her clothes were ordinary, her overall temperament was excellent. It had to be said that she was too dazzling. What was even more eye-catching was the man. His temperament was a bit cold. Although there were beautiful women beside him, there was no trace of pride in his eyes. It was as if everything was natural, as if it was a great honor for these two women to be by his side. This combination of attractiveness was really unparalleled. Men looked at beautiful women, and women looked at handsome men. They did not interfere with each other. The three of them directly arrived at All Things Cinema, and there were quite a lot of people waiting to enter the cinema. Chinya said to her sister, "Let's collect the tickets and buy snacks." Qin Yutong pursed her lips. "Big sister, when did you become lazy? Learn from your brother-in-law. When you are not here, these jobs will be done by me. When you are here, these jobs will be done by you. Of course, you can also go and live in a hotel." Chinya spread out her hands and said helplessly. Chinya wants to chase Qin Yutong away. However, chasing Qin Yutong away is also good. Qin Yutong is not someone who is easy to deal with, and furthermore, she is also Chinya's little sister, so I won't really do anything to her. No. Why would I care about the relationship between humans? After hearing that, Qin Yutong opened up her sexy little mouth, pointed at the two people and said, "Big sister, brother-in-law, you two, how can you two bully a little girl like this? There are a lot of people queuing up, quickly go and come back quickly. I want Sprite and popcorn." Yihua said faintly. "I want Coke and popcorn." Chinya imitated Yihua's tone and said. Qin Yutong's face was filled with disbelief, and after holding it in for a long time, she said, "You guys are truly arrogant." Yihua and Chinya did not pay attention to Qin Yutong and found a seat to sit down. Qin Yutong, who was unwilling to give up, came in front of Yihua and stretched out her hand. "What is it?" Yihua asked. "You need money to buy things, give me money." Qin Yutong said angrily. "No, look for your big sister. Don't look at me, I didn't bring any money, look for your brother-in-law." Chinya immediately dispelled her little sister's thoughts. "When did my little sister's temper become so good?" Yihua wrinkled his brows. "As a woman, you don't even bring any money when you go out. As a man, you don't even bring any money when you go out." Chinya replied coldly. Seeing that the two of them were about to start quarreling again, Qin Yutong gave in. "You two don't quarrel, I will buy it all right." Yihua and Chinya snorted coldly, neither of them paid attention to the other. Qin Yutong, who was queuing up to buy things, was very gloomy. "I am a famous movie empress, and in the morning, I was still being chased after by a group of fans, and right now, I actually became an errand boy. This contrast is a bit big, but it is very interesting. Brother-in-law is a man who doesn't walk the normal path, and big sister's change is even more extraordinary, as if she is changed into a different person. Could it be that pregnant is really 3 years of stupidity?" After waiting for more than 10 minutes, Qin Yutong finally completed the task without any mishaps. "My lords, these are your things." Yihua took a look at Chinya, and the latter immediately understood what he meant. "To even let me insert a straw, do you have to be so lazy? Do you still want to live happily or not?" Qin Yutong didn't understand. "I have already bought things back. Why do the two of you still have this kind of expression on your faces? We must be enemies in our previous lives, right?" Looking at Yihua's threatening expression, Chinya was very unhappy. "However, there were a lot of people here, so I will give him a bit of face and properly teach him a lesson when we go back." Stretching out his hand and inserting the straw into the Sprite, Yihua's expression eased up. Qin Yutong, who was at the side, almost spat out the drink she was drinking. So there is actually such a thing. Did big sister have some blackmail on brother-in-law? Why is big sister so obedient? 8:10 p.m. Avengers 3 can enter the venue. 8:10 p.m., Avengers 3 can enter the venue. 8:10 p.m., Avengers 3 can enter the venue. After the broadcast rang for 3 times, they were finally able to enter the venue. Qing Yutong was in high spirits, while Yihua and Qingye were very calm, seemingly not very interested, especially Yihua. Needless to say, Yihua sat in the middle like a big boss, while Qingye and Qing Yutong sat at the sides, looking just like a princess. Of course, that was under Yihua's contrast. Chapter 32. Especially Thanos' gloves, and those gem combinations, could they really achieve such an effect? To actually be able to exterminate half of the people in the entire universe. To be honest, under the situation where Yihua didn't borrow the help of items, Yihua wouldn't be able to do it. At the very most, with a snap of his fingers, he would be able to exterminate everyone on Earth. Touching onto the ring on his finger, there are a few pairs of gloves and a few chests of various kinds of gems inside. I wonder if I will be able to achieve the same effect by matching the gems in the movie. Yihua expressed that he was very curious about it. If I am bored one day, I can give it a try. Damn, Thanos really made a move, this is too powerful. Qing Yutong, who was at the side, cried out in surprise, then hurriedly drank a mouthful of a beverage to suppress her shock. Yihua said faintly, "So. If I don't act cool, we are still husband and wife." Qingye discovered that right now, the thing that she liked to do the most was to diss Yihua. Right now, Yihua seemed to be a bit immune to Yihua's temper, and he wouldn't get angry so quickly. Yihua said faintly, "Ignorant. You sure know how to act well. If I didn't know better, I would have thought that you are a demon king." Qingye pouted her mouth and said with a look of disdain. Yihua turned his head around and looked towards Qingye, then said evilly, "You really guessed correctly. Move your face away, it's too big. The entire screen is blocked." Qingye pushed Yihua, and the latter smiled and continued watching the movie. After watching the movie, Yihua suddenly wanted to meet this Slayer tyrant. At the very least, there was no problem with his IQ. It was a pity that all of his subordinates were extremely sick. Wei Chang and Lai Gu were still considered to be alright, but the other 5 had practically reached the twisted stage. However, there was nothing to say about their strength. I'm really curious what they're doing now, but I'm sure it's definitely not anything good. It's too good to watch. I'm really looking forward to Avengers 4. From the looks of it, Qing Yutong was still a Marvel fan. Her expectant eyes were really unbearable. Yihua and Qingye didn't express their opinions and walked on their own. I thought that they were passers-by A and passers-by B. This caused Yihua to be very displeased, and he questioned, "Why are you moving so far away from me?" "I like it. It's none of your business." Qingye was doing this on purpose. Gradually, she discovered that Yihua's desire to control himself was quite strong. As long as I continue to act in this direction, I will definitely be able to see Yihua getting angry. "So handsome, come over." Yihua shouted out gravely. Qingye snorted, "If I come over just because you asked me to, it would be very embarrassing for me." A few black lines immediately appeared on Yihua's forehead. Just who is the one that made who lose face? Add one more word in front, and maybe I'll consider it. A smart woman would always leave some leeway for a man. She would not add fuel to the fire. After all, both of them were building a relationship for the unborn child. Neither of them wanted the child to be born without a father or mother. As for the divorce, both of them were well aware of it. If you don't say it, I don't say it. When the time comes, they will not divorce, but who knows what the result will be. Hearing Qingye's words, Yihua laughed from anger. This woman is truly audacious. "Wifey, come here." Although he added 2 words, his tone was still arrogant. Qingye didn't take it to heart. "It's just that, I don't know exactly who will be the one to teach who well. After getting slightly closer to Yihua immediately felt his waist tighten. This fellow is actually hugging onto me and taking advantage of me. Let go of me. Qingye shouted while blushing. Yihua firmly held on to Qingye's willow waist, to prevent this foolish woman from doing the things that he hated. Qing Yutong followed behind and pondered attentively. These two people, if I didn't guess wrongly, there must be something wrong with their brains, and only I can be considered as a normal person. Brother-in-law, let's go and play video games. Qing Yutong shouted. Yihua took a look, childish. 5 minutes later, the three arrived at the shopping mall's arcade. Yihua generously took out his WeChat and paid the bill, and Qing Yutong gave him a thumbs up. What he used was my money. Qingye suddenly added a sentence. Yihua was very unhappy. Will you die if you don't speak? Will you die if you don't hug onto my waist? Qingye immediately retorted back. Qing Yutong shook her head. These two retards. Arriving in front of the dance machine, Qing Yutong was already standing on it. That charming figure of hers immediately attracted the cheers of a group of perverts. Let go of me. Qingye said coldly. What are you doing? Nonsense, of course I'm going to play. Qingye revealed out a look of, you are an idiot, don't you come to the arcade to play? I remember that when I was young, I played dance machines together with my little sister, but because of one thing, the two of us fell out. Yihua said faintly, you are not allowed. I'm afraid that you will jump my child out. Yihua said gravely, how can this woman be so stupid? Qingye was also startled. Luckily Yihua reminded me, if I were to jump my child out of the dance machine, I would even have the heart to die. I almost forgot that I am still a pregnant woman. Seeing that Qingye did not resist, Yihua let go of his hand and took out a cigarette from his pocket. Can you not smoke in front of me? It is not good for the child. If you want to smoke, go outside. Qingye said displeasedly, how can a pregnant woman breathe in secondhand smoke? Yihua paused for a moment, then stuffed the cigarette back into the box and said calmly, all right. The two stood together and looked at Qing Yutong, who was jumping around on the dance machine. As expected of an actress, her dancing posture is indeed impressive, incomparably sexy. That flirtatious look of hers attracted a large group of perverts to scream. Qingye's expression was cold. Her little sister's current actions were completely slandering me. Who knows which reporter might see it and report it carelessly. Qing Yutong, who was drenched in sweat, still did not seem to be satisfied, and Qingye couldn't help but shout out, enough, it is time to go back. Qing Yutong pouted her small mouth. I know that big sister is angry right now. It is not easy for me to indulge myself for once. Forget it, I will dress up as big sister again next time to come and play. Hey, beautiful lady, why are you not dancing anymore? Dance another song. A few youngsters could be seen walking out from the crowd with cigarettes in their mouths, with their heads held high and their chests puffed out, striding with their feet splayed outwards. This kind of attitude and pace was simply asking for a beating. There were still people discussing amongst the crowd. I have a friend who also used this kind of walking posture in the past, and right now, the grass on his grave is already 2 meters tall. What a coincidence, I have a friend who also used this kind of walking posture. He stayed there until his wife remarried. This kind of walking posture is trending this year. It is commonly known as the mouth cannon walking posture. It is very cool. Yihua missed this kind of feeling very much, so much so that a long time ago, there was a human genius level expert who walked arrogantly to exterminate me. Although his walking posture was cool, there was something wrong with his brain, and in the end, he ended up in Wei Chang's stomach. Thinking back to the scene on that day, it was really funny. It was almost the same as now. What are you laughing at? Qingye asked curiously. Although Yihua always makes me angry, when he smiles, he is really very good looking and very charming. I wonder who my child will look like when he is born. I will find out after 9 months. Yihua kept away his smile and said faintly, recalling the things in the past. Chapter 33. Tell me about it. Qinya asked curiously. If you change your bad habits, I'll tell you. Who has more bad habits? Speak clearly to me. Qinya felt that her and Yihua were definitely not on good terms, and they would definitely quarrel after just a few sentences of conversation. Qing Yutong was also drunk. There is a little scoundrel coming to take liberties with me, and you two actually only care about quarreling, and don't care about the other party. What kind of sister was this? What kind of brother-in-law was this? Someone is bullying me. Qing Yutong couldn't help but interrupt, if not, they would definitely ignore her. Yihua silently took a look at her. If I bully you, then fight back. Is there even a need for me to teach you something like this? Yeah, didn't you learn Kung Fu? Can't you handle a few punks? Qingye said faintly. When I was young, my younger sister was already a little tyrant. Don't be fooled by her gender. When she fights, she is even more ferocious than boys. You. Qing Yutong was angered to the point that she didn't know what to say. These two are simply a perfect match. When they coordinate with each other, they can infuriate people to death. Qing Yutong turned her head around and looked towards the three scoundrels, and Qing Yutong became angry. It's fine if I am bullied by the two of them, but the three of you came as well. A bunch of trash. Do you really think this lady is a weak woman? Qing Yutong's aura could be seen changing, and a faint killing intent could be seen emitting out from her entire body. As expected of a shadow empress, to be able to even imitate killing intent, Yihua had to give her a thumbs up. The hooligan's mind was a little confused, and he hurriedly said, Miss, calm down. Hold your sister. Qing Yutong exploded, her small fists directly smashed onto the stomach of the delinquent, and the latter fell onto the ground like a cooked shrimp. Seeing this, the two lackeys behind him didn't know what to do. It was clearly the boss who went to tease others. How did he get hit by the girl? This didn't make sense. Qing Yutong did not have the intention to stop, and only after kicking the other two people to the ground did she stop. The surrounding people couldn't help but suck in a breath of cold air. This seemingly delicate beauty was actually so ruthless. 3 men weren't her match, and from the looks of it, she didn't even use her full strength. Truly amazing. Yihua said, not bad. You became even more powerful. Qingye praised. Qing Yutong really wanted to give each of them a punch. It's easier said than done. Who's making trouble here? A 2-meter-tall burly man could be seen walking out from within the crowd. His arm was even thicker than Qingye's thigh, and when he stood up, he was like a small mountain. With a ferocious look on his face, the people who were watching the show couldn't help but retreat a bit. Yihua let out a breath and walked out. The two sisters went into a daze for a moment. With those small arms and legs of yours, you shouldn't stick your head out, right? If you were to injure any part of your body, wouldn't you still have to take care of it yourself? However, Yihua was also thinking like this. If Qing Yutong's bones were to be fractured, I and Qingye would also be responsible for it. At that time, it would be troublesome for Qing Yutong to be hospitalized and so on. Thus, I might as well do it myself. Walking to the front of the man who was like a small hill, Yihua let out a breath. It has been 5 years since I last hit someone. This time, when I hit someone, I definitely have to control my strength well and not beat him to death. Brother-in-law, quickly come back, your arms aren't even as thick as other people's legs. Qing Yutong placed both of her hands at the side of her mouth and shouted, seemingly as if she was afraid that other people didn't know what was happening. Following Qing Yutong's shout, everyone knew that this man was the beautiful woman's brother-in-law, and the other woman was the wife. This man's luck with women is not shallow, but to meet such a huge figure, I feel that I am going to be hung up and beaten. Don't try to show off, quickly come back. Qingye couldn't help but shout out. Yihua's heart was bleeding. These two ignorant women actually looked down on me like this. Brat, your wife is asking you to go home and eat. Bang. Yihua placed both of his hands into his pockets. What are you looking at? Go home. The two sisters did not even see clearly what happened, and before the burly man could finish speaking, he was already sent flying out and smashed onto a machine. Fuck, what did that man do just now? Don't know, I only saw the burly man being sent flying out. Too formidable, his punches are actually so fast. Qin Yutong was dumbstruck. I didn't expect that her brother-in-law would also be an expert among the commoners. Qin Yutong hurriedly shouted, brother-in-law, wait for me, and this was also the first time that Qingye saw Yihua's martial strength, and she had a lingering fear in her heart. If that punch was on my body, then prepare to pinch my philtrum. In the office on the second floor, the manager on duty witnessed the entire process and hurriedly made a phone call. Master, I discovered a strange man. He sent the mountain flying with a single punch. There was no exclamation of surprise from the phone, and the manager said indifferently, go and check it out then. All right, master. The three sat on the Audi A8, and Qin Yutong kept on asking various kinds of questions, causing Yihua to be very irritated. That punch just now was not bad, the strength was controlled very well, I only used 0.1% of my strength, and it was able to achieve a deterrent effect, and no one died. Comfortable. In the future, I will just use this kind of strength. Brother-in-law. How did you do it? Teach me. Qingye, who was driving, said, your brother-in-law likes to act cool, especially in front of beautiful women. Yihua glared at Qingye, then looked at Qin Yutong and said, I'm not free. Brother-in-law, Qin Yutong let out that charming voice. Qingye was in a bad mood just by listening to it. You are trying to seduce your brother-in-law. Speak properly. Qingye reprimanded coldly. Qin Yutong clicked her tongue. Crazy wife who is protective of her husband. Qin Yutong angrily leaned on the side and sulked. The two of them teamed up to bully me. Looking at the supper stall outside, she said, I want to eat supper. You ate so much just now, and you are still able to eat. Qingye, who was driving, was speechless. I want it, I want it, I want it. Qin Yutong actually acted shamelessly. This made Yihua doubt his own judgment. This is completely like a child that hasn't grown up. How is this a mature woman? Qingye is still much better. Qingye had no choice but to stop the car by the roadside, and the three of them sat at a barbecue stall by the roadside. In front of the barbecue stall, there was even a worn-out television that was playing the news. So comfortable, Qin Yutong said comfortably. The summer breeze by the riverside felt very comfortable, just like giving a face massage. Yihua remained silent. Compared to their beauty, Yihua preferred to watch the news report more. Brother-in-law, why are you staring at me like that? Big sister will misunderstand. Although it is said that half of a sister-in-law's but belongs to brother-in-law, but brother-in-law, aren't you being too open and aboveboard like this? Qin Yutong said bashfully. She acted very well, and she even touched her own face shyly. Yihua said faintly, move aside a bit, block me from watching the news. Poochie. Qingye couldn't help but laugh, and Qin Yutong's face darkened. Brother-in-law, this scoundrel. According to the news from our station, a fire broke out in a castle on the outskirts of London today, causing the castle to collapse. Fortunately, there were no casualties. Qin Yutong sighed. For such a big castle to collapse, there was actually no casualties. This is too mystical. Qingye turned her head around and took a look. I reckon that there was no one living there. Only Yihua knew why there were no casualties, because those people were all in Wei Chang's stomach. Chapter 34. Very soon, all the grilled fish and grilled meat were served. Yihua crossed his arms over his chest and looked at the two women in front of him. Yutong, as your brother-in-law, I have the obligation to teach you how to be a woman. Yihua said gravely with a serious look on his face. Since she is my sister-in-law, I will be magnanimous and teach her a lesson. Qingye rolled her eyes. This fellow is doing it again. Brother-in-law, in that case, can you teach me? Qing Yutong asked curiously. She was completely unaware that the content of what she was going to teach would cause people to collapse. Yihua felt that it was much easier to teach his sister-in-law. First of all, you have to obey a man's orders. Things like peeling skewers is something that you have to do. On this point, you have to learn from your sister. Qingye indeed peeled a skewer of barbecued meat and placed it into Yihua's bowl, to prevent him from finding a reason to flip out again. Qing Yutong paused for a moment, then said earnestly, Brother-in-law, can we talk properly? Come, try it and you'll know. Your sister was very resistant at first, but now she's used to it. Qing Yutong pulled onto Qingye heavily. Big sister, there is a problem with brother-in-law's way of thinking. He wants to groom me into becoming the second wife. Originally, Qingye thought that Yihua was joking, and after hearing what her little sister said, killing intent shot out from Qingye's beautiful eyes. I am teaching her. Yihua said in displeasure. What kind of expression is that, to actually dare to doubt me? But why should I explain? Don't put that weird theory of yours on my little sister's head, eat your food. Qingye said coquettishly. Forget about harming me, you even want to harm my own little sister. That's right, that's right. Brother-in-law is so bad he has the same thoughts as Long Outyin. Sister, you have to be careful. Yihua felt that he had been stabbed with a knife. I educated her out of goodwill, and not only did she not appreciate my kindness, she even tried to frame me, and even compared me with that Long Outyin. Yihua felt that his lungs were about to explode from anger. Looking at her brother-in-law's handsome face that was flush red from anger, Qing Yutong peeled off a skewer of pork ribs, then said fawningly, Brother-in-law, don't be angry, sister-in-law, I was just joking just now. Seeing that his sister-in-law's attitude of admitting her mistake wasn't bad, Yihua didn't pursue the matter further. You have to learn properly. Yes, I will learn. Qing Yutong said helplessly. Brother-in-law is truly a weirdo. At this moment, another report was heard on the television. According to this station's news, there was a tsunami in Southeast Asia this afternoon. 1 person has died, 56 people are missing, and more than 300 people are injured. The tsunami this time was extremely sudden, and the local weather bureau said that they had no idea. The 3 of them paused for a moment, not paying too much attention. However, everyone didn't know that this was the result of Lai Gu's unintentional roar. Yihua slowly put down his chopsticks, straightened the chopsticks, then took out a napkin and wiped his mouth. His movements were smooth and skillful, causing the 2 sisters to be extremely puzzled. To be able to eat so elegantly even when eating barbecue, and to even straighten the chopsticks after finishing eating, does he have obsessive-compulsive disorder? Let's leave after eating. Yihua said lightly. The 2 sisters were already full, and the 3 of them sat on the car and returned back to Leisure Bar. Meanwhile, the young man who was at the barbecue stall had not left yet. He took out his phone and tried to contact someone, but he was unable to get through. When he returned to Leisure Bar, it was already 11 o'clock. However, there wasn't a single soul in Leisure Bar. Yihua's face immediately collapsed. Qingye and Qing Yutong were feeling great, and they walked up the stairs while holding hands. Qingye even shouted out complacently, Yihua, quickly come up the stairs, brother-in-law. Hurry up, Qing Yutong blurted out, and immediately caused Qingye's head to explode. To even dare to take liberties with brother-in-law. The security guards and waiters of the bar were all stupefied. The boss had really flown up to the sky. He actually had 2 beauties in his arms, and the key point was that they were twins. Too valiant. Too powerful. Just that, the price to pay is a bit big. A business like Leisure Bar is probably the prelude to bankruptcy. Yihua wasn't really angry, he just felt that Qinya was disobeying him like this can't do. I have to make her listen to me, and also that sister-in-law, I have to quickly chase her away. After mixing a small glass of wine and drinking it, Yihua slowly walked up the stairs. Just that, the bedroom was actually occupied by two women. How could Yihua endure it? This sister-in-law of his is too outrageous. Brother-in-law, I don't have a place to sleep. Seeing that Yihua was preparing to deliver the goods, Qing Yutong straightforwardly hugged onto her big sister and begged for mercy. Go and sleep in the office. Yihua said gravely. Qing Yutong said pitifully, don't want. Yihua looked towards Qinya, seemingly saying that if you don't persuade me, don't blame me for being ruthless. Qinya pouted her mouth and did not say anything. In any case, I will be happy if Yihua is angry, and I reckon that he will be happy if I am angry as well. I will go and take a bath. If you are still on my bed when I come out, then you can just wait for your big sister to send you a condom. Yihua said coldly. If you force me into a corner, I will get rid of you in front of your big sister. In front of the two beauties, Yihua showed off his figure a bit, then walked into the bathroom. TSK, who are you trying to scare? Qing Yutong said in disdain, just that, in her heart, she was a bit afraid. Qinya leaned against the headboard of the bed and looked at the financial news, then said faintly, if you don't leave, your brother-in-law will really dare to. I don't believe it. At worst, big sister, you can go and help me buy a condom. Qing Yutong's mouth was very firm, and she had a fearless look on her face. Qinya turned her head and said, we don't wear condoms. Qing Yutong felt that she was going to go crazy. Aw, you two perverts, I am leaving. Qing Yutong, who was flustered and exasperated, directly slammed the door and ran to the office to sleep. These two people are simply rotten to the core. 5 minutes later, Yihua walked out of the bathroom while wiping his hair, revealing his sexy muscles. His muscles were not big, but it gave people a feeling that he was very explosive. Exhibitionist Qinya took a glance and said in disdain. When is your little sister going to leave? Qinya laughed in ridicule. Didn't you say that you were going to get an extra bed? What, are you regretting it now? Yihua did not speak and crawled into the blanket, and Qinya pushed the blanket outwards, seeming to dislike Yihua a lot. There is a bed in the office, you can also go over there and sleep. Seeing Qinya's action, Yihua was very unhappy. I didn't even dislike you, and yet you still dislike me. I'm not going. Qinya snorted. Yihua could be seen immediately flipping over and pressing Qinya under his body, and the latter was scared to the point that her soul was about to leave her body. Do you still want to experience the happiness of that night? Yihua stared at that pair of beautiful eyes and asked carefully. Upon thinking back to that night, Qinya's gaze started drifting. What are you doing? Aren't you going to let me sleep? You have been staying on my bed all along, don't you want to experience it again? Go to hell, why are your thoughts so dirty? Right at this moment, the bedroom door was opened, and Qing Yutong looked at the two people on the bed with a face full of surprise. I just left, and they are already unable to endure their hunger and thirst. That. I am here to look for a blanket. Qing Yutong said while stammering, then immediately closed the door. Her little heart was thumping madly, so passionate. Yihua said gravely, she did it on purpose. Who asked you to call her over? Don't press on me, don't you know that you are very heavy? Qingye said angrily. Chapter 35. Who would be willing to hug you, narcissist? Qingye hugged onto the quilt tightly and turned her back towards Yihua. Remember to switch off your phone. It is already switched off. Remember to wake up early tomorrow to buy breakfast. Got it. Don't pant while sleeping. Yihua. Do you want to fight with me? don't think that I am afraid of you. Switch off the light, sleep. Yihua said calmly. He had already laid down, closed his eyes and ignored Qinya, angering Qinya to the point that she wanted to strangle Yihua to death. After switching off the bedside lamp, Qinya let out a sigh of relief and caressed her stomach with both of her hands. My baby, in order to give birth to you, Mom really suffered a lot. Your dad doesn't even care about your mom at all, he doesn't even let me hug him once, and Mom is already used to hugging things to sleep at night, bastard. In Yangshan City, which was at the border of Longan City, a BMW M6 sped on the suburban road. The driver was a young and beautiful woman. Her looks were excellent, her figure was also curvaceous, she was a rare beauty. Sitting beside her was Long Outyin, who used the burrow talisman. It must be said that this was a perfect encounter. Long Outyin has to thank those hoodlums, if not, he wouldn't have had such a romantic encounter. Furthermore, this Gu Tiantian's background is not small too. Yangshan City's famous Gu family, although not as perverted as Qing family, it is still the #1 enterprise in the south. To be a member of my, Long Outyin's, harem, she has reached the standard. Tian, you should believe me now, right? Long Outyin said complacently. Just a while ago, I went to Gu Tiantian's house and conveniently showed off. My medical skills shocked them to the point that they were dumbstruck, and that quack was chased out of Gu family. Seems like I am still very strong, what happened to Qing family today was just an accident. And the gaze that Gu Tiantian's parents looked at me with was as if they were looking at their future son-in-law. That feels great, a man with ability will be discovered no matter where he goes. I, Long Outyin, can only blame myself for being too outstanding. Don't look at Gu Tiantian's aloof appearance, in actuality, her heart had already secretly agreed long ago. Right now, she was just maintaining a woman's modesty. In just a few days, I will be able to take her down and make her a member of my harem. Tian, I'm fine, right? Long Outyin chuckled. He looked like a gentleman, but in truth, he was full of evil tricks. Gu Tian scoffed, don't think that I'll let bygones be bygones just because you cured my dad. I appeared by accident. Do you want me to take a look for you? Shameless, Gu Tian cursed in embarrassment. Look, and you still say you're not moved. Your little face is already red. Ah, women. Qinya, you will definitely regret it. You're not the only woman in this world, there's a whole forest waiting for me, Long Outyin. Tian, Uncle just said that we should have a good conversation. You see, I don't have anywhere to go. Your house is so big, can you give me a room? Gu Tian said coquettishly, Long Outyin. Can you not be so shameless? You made my dad think that we have a relationship. There is indeed a relationship. I've already seen you. If we were in ancient times, I would marry no one but you, ah. I'm going to kill you, ha ha ha. Long Outyin was feeling great in his heart. This is the tempo. Who knows, I might be able to settle it tonight. TSK, outstanding men are always like this. Chasing a girl is just a matter of hooking my finger. However, just as Long Outyin was feeling complacent, his entire body suddenly leaned forward. The sound of tires rubbing against the ground rang out beside his ears. Luckily I had fastened my seatbelt, if not my entire body would have flown out. Rubbing his forehead, Long Outyin asked, Tian, why did you brake so anxiously? I know that you hate me, but isn't this a little too exaggerated? Panic appeared in Gu Tiantian's eyes. Pointing at the front of the car, she was speechless. Long Outyin looked towards the front of the car and saw a person appearing at the front of the car. The person's entire body was wrapped tightly with a black cloth, and there was a dagger at the person's waist. Tian, did your enemy come looking for you? Long Outyin asked curiously. He didn't put the person in his heart at all. Gu Tiantian shook her head. What enemy do I have? I didn't cause any trouble. That person might be your family's enemy, but that doesn't matter. Who asked me to be a good person? Not only did I treat your father's illness, I even helped your family to chase away your enemy. Tian, how are you going to thank me? How about you repay me with your body? Long Outyin giggled, appearing to be very relaxed. Seeing Long Outyan's indifferent expression, Gu Tian also relaxed and wasn't that scared anymore. Can you be a bit more serious? Gu Tian pouted. This man is indeed very mystical, but his words are too flowery. I feel that he isn't reliable. Long Outyin fiddled with his hair. The me right now is definitely serious. Watch how I help you chase away your enemy. You be a bit more careful. Gu Tian warned. With the concern of a beauty, no matter how difficult the matter is, Long Outyin will still not turn back, just to make you smile. Annoying, what time is it already, and you are still saying that? Gu Tian was also speechless, but her heart was still warm. Death Assassin stared at the man in the car. I finally found him. Master said that this man is a bit powerful, but why didn't I notice it? Right now, he is still flirting with a woman in the car. Bang! Death Assassin punched onto the hood of the car and hooked his finger at Long Outyin. The loud sound gave Gu Tian a fright. Looking at the dented hood of the car, Gu Tiantian's entire body trembled as she said while shivering, "This person is here to look for you, quickly get out of the car." Ah! Long Outyin was immediately confused. To think that the person is here to look for me. The power of this punch is not bad, but it is still trash. Just like that quack, the person is here to act cool for me, and then at night, I will be able to hug the beauty. This feels great. A godsend opportunity. Tian, don't be afraid, properly stay in the car, I am here for everything. Long Outyin kept his smile and said solemnly. The degree of firmness in his tone made Gu Tian believe him, and right now, she is completely relying on Long Outyin. Opening the car door, Long Outyin took out a stick of cigarette and lit it up. Although I learned this move from someone else, but it feels very good, it feels very cool. Gu Tian, who is inside the car, definitely has stars in her eyes. She must be worshipping me. Who are you? Long Outyin spat out a mouthful of smoke and asked arrogantly. Death Assassin only has thoughts, how can he speak? Death Assassin just stood there and did not speak. Fuck, you are still a mute, forget it. Bullying you is also not a difficult thing. It is better not to let the ladies see such a bloody scene. Let's stand slightly further away. Long Outyin flicked away the cigarette, but that was in his hand. This action is really handsome. Death Assassin silently followed behind Long Outyin, appearing to be a bit adorable. Long Outyin also had the same feeling. This fellow can't be a fool, right? Chapter 36. Hey, you're a killer, right? Tell me, you don't use sneak attacks, but stand in the middle of the road openly. Are you stupid? Death Assassin was a bit impatient. This was the first time he met an enemy that had so many mouths. From the moment he met Death Assassin until now, his mouth had never stopped. Who sent you? Forget it, you won't tell me now anyway. When I beat you until you kneel down, you will naturally tell me. Today I will let you experience the power of my Long Outyin God Dragon technique. There is no harm in telling you, when I hit this punch, even I myself am afraid. Believe it or not, the reinforced concrete will break into slag. Long Outyin could be seen shouting loudly. His aura was extremely imposing. He stood in a horse stance, clenched his fists tightly. The muscles on his arms gradually became bigger. The mound under his feet even started to crack a little. Gu Tian, who was sitting in the car, was elated. Judging from Long Outyan's aura, he would definitely be able to defeat the man in black. Death Assassin looked at the trash in front of him and slightly went into a daze. This aura is a bit interesting. Compared to ordinary people, this person is indeed a lot stronger. However, it is only a lot stronger. In my eyes, this person is still a trash. The first form of the Divine Dragon technique. Divine Dragon Fist. Long Outyen's right fist exuded a faint golden glow, and he punched forward at lightning speed. A sandstorm was stirred up within a 1-meter radius, and Gu Tian was dumbfounded. Long Outyen sneered in his heart. This adorable killer is so scared that he doesn't even know how to hide. That's even better. Watch me smash your body with one punch. Death Assassin was very disappointed and did not want to move anymore. If he were to move even a little bit, he would be humiliating himself. Long Outyen took a step forward with his right foot, and a few cracks appeared on the ground. Then, he punched out with an imposing manner. Long Outyen's fist passed through the Death Assassin's body and pierced through the Death Assassin's heart. Long Outyen said in disdain, "You are only a so-so, and here I thought you were very powerful." GGG, this strange laughter made Long Outyen swallow his saliva unconsciously. Feeling his arm, it seemed that he had punched the air, but that's not right, I clearly punched through his abdomen. Fall. Why aren't you falling? Shouldn't you be falling? I'm begging you, can't you do it quickly? There's a girl watching. The Death Assassin did not have a physical body, it only had a body of bones, and Long Outyen's fist only went through the Death Assassin's clothes, it did not even touch the Death Assassin's bones. Death Assassin could be seen raising his hand, startling Long Outyen. Is he going to surrender? It's too late now. Besides, you have to raise your hands when you surrender. Paw. Long Outyen felt his face contorting. His body floated in the air, and his consciousness was a little blurry. Death Assassin's slap sent Long Outyen flying, and he only stopped after rolling a few times on the grassland. Long Outyen crawled up with difficulty, and looked at Death Assassin who was approaching him step by step, his gaze revealed fear. Who exactly was this person? Although the Divine Dragon Fist had only been trained to the first layer, it was still able to shatter rocks and break bones. Yet, nothing happened to him. Instead, he was sent flying by a slap. Could it be that this person was an S-rank expert? But, why does he have to come and kill a small character like me? I haven't even grown up yet, that's right. He was afraid that he would grow stronger, so he struck first to gain the upper hand. This person was so vicious. Puff! Long Outyen spat out a mouthful of blood and felt his blood boiling. He was even more afraid of this man in black. In front of him, he was just like a child. Swish! Long Outyen still didn't know what was going on, and a sharp pain came from his arm. Blood violently gushed out, and when he lowered his head to take a look, the wound was so deep that his bones could be seen. Fear spread in Long Outyen's heart. I am completely not a match for him, I can't even catch his movements, let alone counterattack. Gu Tian sat in the car and watched nervously. She could only see two black figures together, and she didn't know what was going on. Long Outyen's goal was achieved, he did not let Gu Tian see the scene of blood splattering everywhere, and was also able to show off his strength. Just that, everything had changed, just like what happened at Qing family today. It was happening once again. There's no other way. I still have an Earth Escape talisman, if I don't use it now, I will really be waiting for death. Earth Escape talisman. Death Assassin slashed out with his blade, just that, he missed. Looking at where he was, where did he go? Could it be that he has the ability to teleport? I was really a bit careless, I originally wanted to torture him to death, but from the looks of it now, it would be better for me to report this to my superiors. Gu Tian rubbed her eyes, there were two black figures just now, why did they suddenly disappear? Mustering up her courage, she got off the car and shouted lightly, Long Outyen. Long Outyen. Arriving at the place where the two disappeared from just now, Gu Tian looked around and was filled with doubt. She could only leave in disappointment. This Long Outyan ran away. Luckily this assassin did not come to look for me, he is really not a man. Long Outyan shouted out that he was wronged, I only temporarily retreated due to injuries. At a remote mountain village, Long Outyan opened his eyes, and a high-spirited voice rang out beside his ears. Exerting himself to open his eyes to take a look, he immediately had the urge to faint. Why isn't it the bathroom, why is it the pigsty? My God, why am I so unlucky? Who are you? A beautiful young lady could be seen standing outside of the pigsty and asked curiously. Long Outyan laughed bitterly. I didn't expect that my luck with women still did not change, meeting with beautiful women unceasingly. The rhythm is still in my hands, wait till I finish cultivating the dragon god technique, then I will kill my way back. During this period of time, I will properly develop my relationship with this young lady. Let me faint for a while first, let the young lady take care of me for a while. Early morning, Yihua slowly opened his eyes, his brows immediately wrinkled, and a moist feeling came from his chest. Lowering his head to take a look, this woman is actually wrapped around me like an octopus, this is simply too outrageous. She doesn't even have any manners when sleeping. And this pool of saliva in front of his chest, this is really annoying. Wake up. Don't mess around, today is Sunday, let me sleep for a while. Qingya's tone right now carried a hint of acting coquettishly, it was especially comfortable to listen to, at least it was better to listen to than cold words. Yihua did not fall for this, look at what you have done. Qingya wrinkled her brows impatiently, opened her beautiful eyes to take a look, and discovered that she hugged onto him again, and even left a pool of saliva on his chest. This is too embarrassing, so she braced herself and said, what is it? What's wrong with me hugging onto my husband to sleep? Yihua had never seen a woman who could speak nonsense with a straight face, dripping a pool of saliva on his chest, and still acting so righteously. It is already 7 a.m., quickly get up and go buy breakfast. Yihua's tone became a bit more relaxed, not lowering himself to her level. Qingya basically did not have the intention to get up, I am pregnant, you have to take care of me. That is not what you said last night. Women are fickle, you should properly experience it. Qingya hugged onto the blanket and rolled it to the side, acting shamelessly, angering Yihua to the point that his lips were trembling. Why did I end up with such a woman? After getting up and washing up, when he was done, he saw that he was actually still lying on the bed like a corpse. I have no choice but to teach her. Chapter 37. After placing Qingya in the bathroom, Yihua said coldly, brush your teeth, wash your face, and buy breakfast. The latter's pair of beautiful eyes were about to spit out fire. Yihua, I will fight you to the death. 10 minutes later, Yihua walked out of the bathroom with Qingya, who had a miserable look on her face. Add more sugar to the porridge. Qingya snorted and walked towards the office. It seems like she wants to drag Yihua down with her. As expected, Qing Yutong's scream and helpless complaints could be heard from inside the office. Big sister, I am still young, and you actually want me to accompany you to buy breakfast? Do you want to be surrounded by my fans? Qing Yutong walked out of the bathroom while yawning, her pair of eyes had not even opened yet, looking very cute. If you don't want to go, then stay in a hotel. Are you really my big sister or not? No. I give up, I will go all right. Looking at the two women walking out of the bathroom, Yihua could finally have some peace. In the past, his mornings were always peaceful, but ever since this woman barged into his life, everything changed, his life could no longer be peaceful. Smoking a cigarette, Yihua sat at the bar counter and waited for breakfast. Actually, it is not bad to have a woman, at least I don't have to do many small things myself. However, she lacks discipline, she doesn't look like a wife at all. A black whirlpool could be seen appearing out of nowhere, and Wei Chang walked out from it and said respectfully, "Your Honor." Long Outyin ran away. Yihua paused, then said gravely, "Long Outyin was able to escape from your hands." "Not really, this Long Outyin seems to have the ability to teleport, that's why he was able to escape," Wei Chang explained. This was what he heard from Death Mage, and Death Mage heard it from his underling, Death Assassin. Yihua did not speak, his index finger rhythmically tapped on the table, stared at Wei Chang, and said after a while, "What do you think we should do about this matter?" Wei Chang's heart sunk. This is his honor's test for me. If my answer is not to his honor's satisfaction, his honor will definitely give me a good scolding. Wei Chang's brain was like a 12-cylinder engine that started operating. What his honor pays attention to is human nature, and he definitely doesn't pay attention to killing people. "Your Honor, this person's ability is still considered to be a minority, but to this planet, this is still the first time that we have encountered someone like this. I feel that we can monitor him and see if he has any accomplices, and also, where did he get his ability from?" Wei Chang said with a nervous heart. He felt that this way of speaking was very difficult. Wei Chang's performance made Yihua have a whole new level of respect for Wei Chang. In the past, Wei Chang was just a simple-minded person. No matter what Yihua asked him to do, he would be very efficient. Even if he could obviously make use of something, he would still be very efficient. But now, he knows how to use his brain. That's right. I'm glad that you have such thoughts. As long as your honor is happy, it would be subordinate's unparalleled glory. Not sure when did Wei Chang also learn how to bootlick. Most probably, it was all because he watched TV dramas. I'll leave this Long Outyin to you. I hope you can give me a satisfactory answer. I will not let your honor down. Wei Chang shouted out gravely, then stood up and stepped into the black whirlpool, disappearing from Yihua's sight. A trace of an arc appeared on the corner of Yihua's mouth. I am even able to train Wei Chang well. I don't believe that I am unable to handle a woman. Looking at the clock on the wall, it has already been half an hour, and Wei Chang still hasn't returned yet. Yihua took out a stick of cigarette, then squinted his eyes and looked towards the door. 8 o'clock a.m. 9 o'clock a.m. 10 o'clock a.m. 11 o'clock a.m. 12 o'clock a.m. The floor of the bar counter was already filled with cigarette butts, and there were even a few empty wine bottles on the bar table. Meanwhile, Yihua's expression was gloomy, seemingly as if he was going to spew out fire. This woman is really too arrogant. Doesn't she know that I am still waiting for breakfast? I can even eat Chinese food now. Outside of the bar, Qingye and Qing Yutong, who was fully armed, got off the car and took their bags. After the two of them finished eating breakfast, they passed by a shopping mall and accidentally strolled a little too much. The porridge had already turned cold, and the thick fried dough sticks had also turned soft. Big sister, even when I was standing outside, I could feel brother-in-law's resentment drifting out. Qing Yutong, who was wearing a baseball cap and sunglasses, said in a low voice. To be honest, right now, I am a bit afraid. Qingye snorted coldly. That fool wouldn't really be waiting for breakfast, right? However, with my understanding of him, that is definitely the case. Furthermore, the moment I enter the restaurant, I will be able to see the look of him flipping out. Forget it, it's my fault today. At most, I'll just let him win this round. Qing Yutong pulled onto her big sister. It is still better for us to run. Let's wait for brother-in-law to calm down first. That's not calming down. That's adding fuel to the fire. Right now, Qingye was already able to clearly understand Yihua's temper. The more she resisted, the angrier Yihua would get. As long as I follow Yihua's heart, everything would be fine. Then what should we do? You still dare to say that? Wasn't it because you wanted to buy a few pieces of underwear, causing you to go shopping all over the mall? If not, such a thing wouldn't have happened. Qingye felt that her younger sister did it on purpose. Qin Yutong said with grievance, "Big sister, the steering wheel is in your hands, it is not like I am able to control it. Moreover, didn't you also buy a big pile of it? You. Alright, alright. I'll plead for brother-in-law later and strive for leniency. Qin Yutong, you sold me out just like that." SSS, 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 Yi Hua, who was sitting inside, was able to hear the two of them playing around, and his anger became bigger and bigger. When he saw the two of them walking over with big and small bags, he almost went berserk. They actually went shopping. I completely forgot about myself. When the two sisters just entered the bar, they were still quarreling. However, when they saw Yi Hua, who was inside the bar counter, their hearts sunk, and they didn't even dare to breathe loudly. Adding with the dusky atmosphere of the bar, it was simply frightening. "Where did they go?" Yi Hua asked coldly. "One is my wife, and the other is my sister-in-law. Do I really have to kill them?" The human nature in my heart was against it, but it was precisely because of this that Yi Hua was extremely angry. How many years has it been? Other than her, no one would dare to make me wait for so long. Qinya and Qin Yutong took a look at each other. Right now, the two sisters have to work together to be able to get through this difficult time. "Brother-in-law, it's like this. In order to let brother-in-law eat the best fried dough sticks and congee in the city, big sister specially drove to the east of the city." Qin Yutong didn't act recklessly anymore. She felt that her brother-in-law was really angry. Yi Hua's cold gaze shifted towards Qinya, and the latter's heart was startled. She slightly lowered her head and said, Actually, what the heck is going there, but I have no choice, I am in the wrong, and I can't stand on my own 2 feet." Seeing that Qinya admitted to it, Yi Hua felt a bit better in his heart. However, when he saw the two of them carrying big and small bags, he became angry. "Even if we go to the east of the city and go back, it will only take us 40 minutes. The two of you left the house at 7:30 a.m., look at what time it is now, it is already 12:30 a.m. Don't talk about traffic jam, Longpan City is not like a first-tier city. Brother-in-law, Before Qin Yutong could finish speaking, Yi Hua interrupted her, "Let your big sister speak." "Oh," Qin Yutong pouted her mouth. "Big sister, you better pray for your own good luck." Chapter 38. Yutong did not bring along a change of underwear, so we got off the car and went to the mall. Qinya changed from her previous overbearing attitude and spoke with an explanatory tone, which made Yi Hua feel very comfortable. Qin Yutong, who was at the side, was stupefied. "Big sister instantly sold me out. I bought it back then, and it was you who wanted to keep it. You are obviously trying to anger brother-in-law." And then, although my anger has dissipated, I still have to teach her a lesson. Qinya's pretty face was a bit red as she stammered, and then, Yutong still wanted to buy a few pajamas. Qin Yutong's face immediately turned bad. "This is obviously framing me. No, I must definitely expose Big Sister's true colors." But Big Sister was actually secretly pulling my clothes. This made Qin Yutong a bit surprised. I didn't think that Big Sister would actually pay so much attention to brother-in-law's feelings, but I am unjustly implicated. "Yutong?" Yi Hua asked gravely. Qin Yutong swore that next time, she will definitely not go shopping with Big Sister. "Brother-in-law, it is all Yutong's fault, don't blame Big Sister." Bang! Yi Hua heavily slammed onto the bar counter, scaring the two sisters into shrinking back. "Why didn't you pick up the phone? Qinya, don't you know that you are pregnant? Losing contact for a few hours, don't you know that I was very worried? Qin Yutong, you don't have to take the blame for your big sister, do you think I don't know what she is thinking?" After venting out his anger, Yi Hua let out a sigh of relief. "Am I worried about the child or worried about Qinya? Even I am not sure, but what I am sure of is One of the human emotions actually appeared in me again, worry. Yihua did not know if it was a good thing or a bad thing, because it had never happened before. Qin Yutong really wanted to praise brother-in-law for being wise, to be able to see through big sister's scheme in an instant. And Qin Yu was very surprised. This fellow actually said that he was worried about me. Is he for real? But looking at his expression, it seems that he is worried about me, and I am still very happy in my heart. I suddenly feel that Yihua is rather cute, especially this angry expression. He looks just like a child. We did not bring our phone with us, because we did not expect that it would take so long. Qin Yu explained. Then don't you know how to borrow or buy one? You don't even have this bit of common sense. Where did your brains go? The two sisters lowered their heads in silence. If they had known this would happen, they would have come back to deliver breakfast before going shopping. Brother-in-law, big sister also bought something for you. Qin Yutong suddenly thought of something and said hurriedly. Yihua went into a daze and looked towards Qin Yu. Qin Yu walked forward and handed over a small bag, then retreated a few steps back and stood together with her little sister. This kind of action is really too comical. This should be how elementary school students who make mistakes, right? Taking out the things inside the bag, what Yihua saw were 2 pairs of men's underwear. At this moment, Yihua felt that his heart was beating a bit abnormally. The frequency of his heartbeat was a bit fast, and it was also very hot. I can't be about to go berserk, right? Without turning his head back, Yihua went upstairs to check on the condition of his body. The 2 sisters heaved a sigh of relief at the same time. They had passed the test. One who survived a great disaster was bound to have good fortune later on. Sis, you owe me. Alright, I owe you. This morning, not only did I get taught a lesson by Yihua, I even had to let my little sister take the blame for me. If it wasn't for the fact that I prepared a pair of men's underwear, I reckon that I wouldn't have let it go so quickly. However, big sister, brother-in-law seems to care about you a lot. Qin Yutong threw the big and small bags onto the ground, then sat on the high chair. Qin Yu snorted, he will care about me. He cares about the child in my tummy. Big sister, you can't say it like that, because in the end, there are a lot of scenes where the child ends up together. I have also accepted such a script before, and at that time, it was rather popular. Furthermore, with you being like this today, and also brother-in-law being like this, TSK. Are your feelings for each other coming to fruition? Go to hell. Qin Yu said with a straight face. Her heart was thumping a bit. Looking at the fried dough sticks and congee that had become cold, Qin Yu walked upstairs. Qin Yutong pouted her mouth, still being stubborn. Yihua sat beside the office table. Just now, I did a full body checkup, and there is no problem. This is really strange. This Qin Yu is actually able to control my emotions. How is this possible? Bang, bang, bang. A series of knocking sounds rang out, and Yihua responded. Qin Yu could be seen walking in while holding onto the warmed-up congee. Just that, the fried dough sticks were unable to maintain their crispy texture. I added sugar. Qin Yu placed the steaming hot congee and the cold fried dough sticks on the office table. Yihua looked at the congee blankly, feeling that it was very abnormal. This doesn't seem to be Qin Yu's style. Seeing that Yihua did not eat, Qin Yu steeled her heart and picked up the congee, lightly blew on it, then placed it beside Yihua's mouth. Here, open your mouth. The corner of Yihua's mouth twitched a bit. I am a man, it is not to the extent where I have to feed someone. I have hands. Yihua said unhappily. Qin Yu also became angry. I already gave in so much, and you still don't appreciate my kindness. Do you really think that I am afraid of you? It's more or less done. I have already been scolded by you for so long. Qin Yu's expression once again returned to how it was in the past. This caused the feelings that had just warmed up to immediately extinguish. Don't tell me that you don't deserve to be scolded. I want you to buy breakfast for a few hours. Do you want to eat or not? Chinya said angrily, then slammed the door and left. Yihua picked up the kanji and wanted to throw it out, but this action of his stopped. After a while, he drank a mouthful. It was very sweet. Forget it, it is good that she has this intention, I have to take it slowly. Opening the door and walking out of the office, Yihua just happened to see Chinya preparing to go out. Dressed in a black suit, her beautiful hair was tied up behind her head, her entire temperament seemed very capable, just like a high and mighty queen. Where are you going? Yihua asked. Chinya snorted, going to the company. Today is Sunday, what are you going to the company for? Of course to earn money. If I don't earn money, are you going to support me? Chinya rolled her eyes at Yihua, clearly, her anger had yet to dissipate. Yihua shouted out gravely, you are not allowed to go. It is one thing for you to bully me. Are you going to care where I go? Chinya retorted angrily, this man is simply overbearing to the limit. For the next 9 months, you can only stay by my side. Ha, I won't. Towards this kind of unreasonable troublemaker, Yihua only had one way, and that was to force her. Yihua grabbed onto Chinya's wrist and pulled her into his embrace. Ah, save me. Yutong, quickly come out and save your big sister, help me call 110. Chinya knew that she was not Yihua's opponent and hurriedly asked for help from her little sister. Qin Yutong, who was currently tidying up the storage room, opened the door and stuck her head out. Big sister, brother-in-law, when you two fight, don't bring sister-in-law along, alright? Seeing that her little sister was not going to help, Chinya said angrily, Qin Yutong, consider yourself ruthless. Yihua laughed lightly, alright, just now, my attitude was bad. Right now, it is already noon, even if you don't want to eat, our child still has to eat. Upon hearing that Yihua had admitted defeat, Chinya stopped struggling. You even brought out the child, is this all you have, Yutong? Let's go out and eat together. Alright, brother-in-law. Chapter 39. The speed at which you two quarrel is not proportional to the speed at which you two reconcile. Qin Yutong didn't forget to tease Chinya a little. This is the pair that quarreled fiercely and reconciled the fastest. Look at them now, they are even hugging each other. Yihua said faintly, your sister only has this bit of ability. Yihua, if you want to quarrel, just say it, I will accompany you to the end. You are pregnant, your emotions need to be stable, if not it will not be good for the child. Yihua reminded. Recently, he had been reading books on this topic. You still know that pregnant women cannot get excited. Chinya glared at Yihua. Yihua said faintly, as long as you are obedient, we can still be together. Who cares? Brother-in-law, big sister, can the two of you not hug each other when you are quarreling? This way, there won't be the feeling of quarreling. Qin Yutong couldn't take it anymore. How is this quarreling? This is completely like showing off your love. Shut up. Shut up. Qin Yutong let out a deep sigh. You two can only bully a little girl like me who has no temper. Allow me to go and change my clothes. 10 minutes later, Qin Yutong changed back into Chinya, and she even changed into a sexy outfit, a tight black one-piece dress, and then, there was no then. Brother-in-law, how is it? Isn't it sexy? Qin Yutong stood in front of Yihua and spun around. Chinya snorted, she really wanted to kick Qin Yutong out, but thinking about how her little sister helped her in the morning, she decided to let her off this time. Yihua's gaze revealed out praise. This is more like it, getting to sleep on my bed. Not bad, much better than before. Qin Yutong said craftily, so brother-in-law likes this kind of stuff. Big sister heard that. Paw. Chinya raised her hand and slapped Chinya. Chinya touched her butt and said with a face of grievance, brother-in-law, big sister hit my butt, alright, let's go. Yihua said faintly. Qing Yutong stuck out her tongue towards her big sister and held onto Yihua's arm, causing Qingye to almost go berserk. The three of them did not drive out of the house. After walking out of the alley, they arrived at the roadside, and Qingye finally couldn't take it anymore. Look at what you two are like. What's wrong? I didn't even touch brother-in-law's buttocks. This is the etiquette of holding hands. Qing Yutong quibbled. Qing Yutong wanted to see her big sister's appearance of caring, and at the same time, showing that she didn't care. Yihua nodded his head, true. Brother-in-law is wise. Looking at the two of them echoing each other, Qingye was angered to the point that her hands were trembling. He is obviously my husband, yet, he is being held by my younger sister. Ah. There are still empty seats here. Yihua reminded. Are you giving me charity? I'm not going to help you. Brother-in-law, everyone thinks that I'm your wife. Big sister is your sister-in-law. Qing Yutong laughed coquettishly and hugged onto Yihua's arm tightly. This kind of peculiar stimulation was something that only Yihua was able to feel. Being hugged by my sister-in-law in front of my wife, this feels great. Qingye couldn't take it anymore and held onto Yihua's hand with an expression that said, I am his wife. Yihua laughed lightly, then hugged onto Qingye's willow waist, and did not hug onto Qing Yutong. This made Qingye feel much more balanced, and Qingye was completely unaware that Yihua was taking advantage of her. Brother-in-law, let's go and eat fish, that shop looks pretty good. Qing Yutong pointed at the shop that was not far away from them, and the shop was called World Peace. The exterior of the shop was well decorated and looked very stylish. Yihua asked Qingye, do you want to eat fish? Anything. Eating fish is quite good for pregnant women. Yihua brought the two sisters and walked towards the shop. On the way, all the men wished that they could kill Yihua. Beauties are a rare species, let alone a pair of beautiful twins. They are definitely rare among rare, and I actually have two of them. One has a fierce aura, and the other is sexy and charming. Aren't these two goddesses that drop down from the sky? Walking into World Peace Fish Shop, the business of this shop was indeed pretty good, and the decoration was also very romantic. At the entrance of the shop, ornamental fishes were displayed. Of course, not all of them were ornamental fishes, it was just that the price was expensive. Is there a private room? Qingye asked faintly. The waitress was still shocked by the appearance of this woman and didn't react for a moment. In actuality, all the men in the hall were looking towards this direction. There are beautiful twins, right? And all the women were looking at Yihua, and their saliva was about to drop into their bowls. Sorry, the private room is already full, there is only that table at the corner left. The waitress seemed to not be very confident, mainly because Qingye's aura was too strong. It seemed as if she was looking for someone to negotiate with. Looking towards that table at the corner, it really is at the corner. When had Yihua and Qingye ever sat at such a table before? The two of them came to a consensus at the same time, and that was to leave. However, Qing Yutong had already walked over. What else could Yihua and Qingye do? Could it be that they were going to leave Qing Yutong behind? Yutong, let's go to another place to eat. Qingye sat down and said faintly. Qing Yutong looked at the menu and said, what other place? It is good to sit at the corner, lest I get recognized by others. Moreover, this place is overcrowded, the fish would definitely not be bad. Look, it is so ridiculously expensive, it would definitely be delicious. Does your so-called delicious food mean that it is expensive? Qingye said with a black face. You get what you pay for. If it is not delicious, we will just make a fuss. Brother-in-law, what do you say? Qing Yutong seemed to want to make a fuss. Yihua didn't have the mood to make a fuss and said calmly, you all can do as you please. Wow, there is actually caviar chocolate pudding here. Big sister, quickly take a look. Qing Yutong seemed to be very excited, and Qingya also became interested. Taking over the menu and taking a look, this unremarkable shop actually has so many top-quality products. And the difficulty of making this top-quality caviar chocolate pudding was extremely high. Although the ingredients used were naturally top quality, the price was not something that ordinary people could afford to eat. Just this small piece cost 200k. Brother-in-law, look at this, bluefin tuna. I haven't eaten it for a long time. There are also gooseneck barnacles, two-headed abalone, 66666, big sister, just who opened this shop. There are so many amazing things here. Qing Yutong could be considered to be an international celebrity. She had eaten a lot of delicacies, but right now, she was sighing in admiration. Take this bluefin tuna for example, 200 plus kg was worth around 4 million, and this gooseneck barnacle was known as the golden seafood, 1 kilogram was worth over 10,000. Actually, the most expensive one was the caviar chocolate pudding. The caviar used was Iran's Overmars caviar. It was extremely rare, filled with 24k gold. 1 kilogram was worth 200k. Brother-in-law, what are you staring blankly for? Order the dishes. Qing Yutong said. Yi Hua could be considered to have experienced what was called a rich person. After this meal, without at least a few million, this shop is very interesting. Are you sure you want to order such expensive food? Yi Hua asked, feeling a little heartache. One must know that normally, Yi Hua would only order takeout, and at most, he would impulsively spend a few hundred. This time, he ordered over 1 million in one go, and he even had to eat a meal. His heart ached. Seems like Yi Hua had really changed in these 5 years. He became someone who knew how to save money. In the end, it was still a habit. The Yi Hua in the past did not need to worry about money. Only after coming here did he know that money indeed comes quickly, but it has to be legal. Chapter 40. Yi Hua, it can't be that you have never eaten it before, right? Qingya seized the opportunity to tease Yi Hua. Yi Hua had indeed never eaten such expensive food before, but that did not mean that he had never eaten higher class food before. Qingya, have you eaten dragon meat before? Yi Hua asked faintly. Brother-in-law is starting to act cool again. I have to cover my eyes. While speaking, Qing Yutong really covered her eyes, looking sexy yet cute. Qingya was still very cooperative. Why are you covering your eyes? I'm afraid that I'll be blinded by brother-in-law's power. Yi Hua, when I have time, I will bring you two to eat dragon meat. Red infant flood dragon's meat is also not bad. Qingya, you are pregnant right now, you need to nourish yourself. Speaking up to here, Yi Hua had to ask Lai Gu to go and get some food for Qingya. It's all my fault for being careless. I forgot that Qingya needs nourishment and I have to prepare more food for her. Qing Yutong covered her face and said, Brother-in-law, if I don't act cool, I would still be your sister-in-law. This time around, Qingya didn't laugh at Yi Hua and said faintly, Amitba, it would be great if you don't get angry. From the looks of it, she didn't believe Yi Hua's words at all. However, towards Yi Hua's concern, her heart still felt warm. Yi Hua laughed lightly and did not say anything. Of course, they wouldn't understand. Right now, I will contact Lai Gu and ask him to make a trip over. If Lai Gu is still together with that celebrity, I will stew Lai Gu into soup and drink it at night. Upon receiving Yi Hua's message, Lai Gu immediately went to get the ingredients. Because, His Honor really knows how to stew dragon bones, and he even wants me to drink the soup. This is simply savage and inhumane. Under the astonished gaze of the waiter, Qingya finished ordering the dishes and began waiting. Qingya discovered that the people who were eating in the hall didn't order such expensive dishes. Instead, they ordered king crab and Australian lobster. Qingya cried out in alarm. Yi Hua seemed to be preparing to look at the Australian lobster. Who knows, I might even have to peel the lobster later on, it's so big. Yi Hua, look at me. Qingya held on to Yi Hua's face and turned him around. F***ck, sister, you don't have to do this. I'm still single. Why don't you give me half of your brother-in-law? Yihua nodded his head. Yutong's idea is not bad. The two of you are scoundrels. Qingye said indignantly. Yihua stretched out his hand and stroked onto Qingye's cheek. Don't worry, I won't order such a big lobster for you to peel. This fellow actually saw through it. Not only did he not say anything, he made a fool of himself. He was simply terrible. Little sisters, my surname is Zhang, and my name is Tiankai. I wonder if I can have the honor to invite you two to have lunch together. After all, no matter how good the seafood is, it will be tasteless without the company of a beautiful woman. A man wearing a pair of gold-rimmed glasses appeared in front of the three of them in a refined and courteous manner. He spoke eloquently. Not bad, ah. However, you're trying to poach someone in front of the Supreme Sovereign. Isn't this like lighting a lamp in the toilet? You're looking for shit. Then continue to be boring. Yihua said coldly. Such a weak and small human doesn't even deserve to talk to me. However, I really couldn't help but want to slap this human flying away and disturb my peace. Zhang Tiankai rubbed his eyes and said seriously, Mister, do you know how rude you are? I'm inviting you to stay silent. Qingye and Qing Yutong immediately laughed, and when they looked at Yihua's expression, they felt like laughing. However, the two sisters did not point it out. This is too bad, this ignorant human actually told me to shut up. Who gave him the guts to do this? Where did he get his confidence from? Zhang Tiankai once again revealed out a gentleman's smile. Ladies, my table has top-notch king crab, Australian lobster, top-notch Hokkaido red-haired crab, top-notch foie gras, rare caviar, and, shut up. Yihua shouted out coldly, and a strange red light shone out from his pair of eyes. Zhang Tiankai seemed to have seen a terrifying skull quietly rising into the air and opening its pitch-black mouth, wanting to swallow him. Qingye and Qing Yutong didn't expect that Yihua would really get angry, because even they themselves got a fright. How could Yihua not get angry? A fly running in front of you buzzing non-stop, but it's a pity that I can't step on it to death. Because I am currently in the period of abstaining from killing, this kind of contradiction made Yihua very vexed. Therefore, normally, Yihua wouldn't go out, because he didn't want to meet with this kind of fool. Ruining 5 years of cultivation for a fool is not worth it at all. Zhang Tiankai came back to his senses. What happened to me just now, to actually be scared by this man? I lost so much face. Mister, don't think that you can casually bully people just because you are handsome, this kind of behavior will be condemned. Qingye knew that Yihua was very angry, but she seemed to be holding it in for some reason and shouted out coldly, Enough, it is not your turn to judge my husband. That's right, why don't you go back and eat your abalone and lobster? Qing Yutong naturally stood on Yihua's side and intimately leaned on Yihua's side. Yihua let out a sigh of relief, feeling that this can't go on. I have to think of a way to punish these humans who like to act cool. Slapping them to death with a single slap definitely won't work, then I will just make them jealous of what I can't get. Yihua could be seen hugging onto the two sisters, and the two sisters cried out in surprise, their faces and ears flushed red, especially Qing Yutong. You can only look at them forever, you won't even be able to touch a single hair of theirs. You are even more unworthy to dine with them. Yihua felt that he had become better and more humane. Zhang Tiansai's eyes revealed out a look of jealousy as he snorted, What can you give them, a man who can't even afford a king crab? Mister, please move aside. Don't bother me. Zhang Tiankai shouted angrily. Mister, please move aside. This sentence was clearly a warning, causing Qingye's willowy brows to wrinkle. This restaurant is so awesome. Zhang Tiankai turned his head around angrily, What are you doing? The customer at this table ordered the bluefin tuna. Our chef will slice it into fish fillets right in front of the customers. Move aside. Looking at the 200+ kg bluefin tuna, Zhang Tiankai was dumbfounded. Not only Zhang Tiankai, the surrounding customers were also dumbfounded. I have never seen someone order such an expensive fish in the main hall before. Today, I have broadened my horizons. Zhang Tiankai quietly retreated. I actually stepped on an iron nail. Luckily I didn't bleed. This scared me to death. I should just go back and eat king crab. This kind of fish is too extravagant just by looking at it. Brother-in-law, you are taking advantage of me, Qing Yutong shouted out, as if she was afraid that her big sister couldn't hear her. As expected, Qing Ya's face darkened, taking advantage of my sister-in-law in front of my wife. For the first time, Yi Hua was a bit embarrassed. Misunderstanding. Humph, who is misunderstanding? You are using us to show off how awesome you are, right? Qing Yi said. Her tone was filled with jealousy. Qing Yutong was about to explode from laughing in her heart. Big sister even said that she doesn't like it, and yet, the taste of jealousy is so strong. Yi Hua was helpless. I just don't want to casually kill people, that's all. Yi Hua said, I will treat you to a good meal tonight. Who cares? Qing Yi said. Her tone had clearly eased up. Chapter 41. Every part of the bluefin tuna had its own price. Some parts were expensive, while others were cheap. The belly of the bluefin tuna was rich in oil, tender and pink in color. It melted in one's mouth and tasted delicious. This was the most expensive part. The middle and back of the bluefin tuna had a moderate amount of oil. The taste of the meat was inferior and the color was lighter, so it was slightly cheaper. What the three of them mainly ate was the fish meat with big belly. Yi Hua also tasted the fish meat for a bit and felt that it was ordinary. It might be that I ate too many birds and beasts in the past, and right now, I am only interested in crayfish. A few years ago, I even continuously ate instant noodles and spicy sticks for an entire month. It's delicious. Qing Yutong had an infatuated look on her face, and although Qing Yu did not show it on her face, the happy expression on her face was able to explain everything. Yi Hua placed down his chopsticks. The two of them have never eaten anything better than this. Tonight, I will let them experience what is called delicacies. Bang! A crisp sound suddenly rang out. The customers in the restaurant looked up and saw a girl standing there in a daze. There were also a few porters, and the ground was covered with glass shards. There was also a bright red fish jumping around, and there was a broken dish beside it. The red fish jumped a few times and calmed down a lot. Its tail was raised, and it seemed like it was about to die. There was blood in the water. It seemed like the fish was injured when it fell. Oh my God, that should be the blood-red dragon. This kind of arowana is really rare. I didn't expect the owner of this shop to buy one, but it looks like it's hopeless. That girl is really careless. This blood-red dragon is worth at least 5 million. It's clearly the porter's problem. How could you blame a girl? The blood-red dragon on the ground flapped its tail weakly. Its blood-red scales were like its own blood, and its slightly raised head could no longer display its domineering aura of a king. Yi Hua looked at the fish on the ground, and it was as if he was looking at himself. Back then, how glorious was I! Yet, I was crazily attacked by the humans, and in the end, I could only wait for death to come. After coming back to life, I will think of ways to understand the humans, only then will I not repeat the same mistake. Yi Hua, that seems to be your employee, right? Qing Yi said. Yi Hua took a look, and it was indeed one of my employees. I didn't expect that she would work here during the day, and at my place during the night. She would work at my place. She is truly a hard-working girl. Yi Hua responded indifferently. Don't you want to say something? Qing Yi said unhappily. In any case, Chinya is still my employee, how can she be standing there feeling wronged? As the boss, you should at least step forward and say a few words. Yihua said faintly, if one does something wrong, then there should be a corresponding punishment. Regardless of whether this matter is related to her or not, she is still implicated in this matter. If she were to step forward now, she wouldn't even know where she went wrong. Chinya pouted her mouth. I thought that Yihua would be so cold-blooded, so this is the case. No, this fellow was indirectly lecturing him. What brother-in-law said is right, only by recognizing our own mistakes, would we be able to be more careful next time. Qin Yutong was standing on brother-in-law's side. Yihua expressed that he was very gratified and patted onto Qin Yutong's head. The latter squinted her beautiful eyes, seeming to be enjoying it very much, causing Chinya to be angered to the point that she became speechless at the side. The relationship between this man and my little sister is really too intimate, I can't let this go on, if not, I will really have to go and send condoms to him. Sure enough, a man in a black suit rushed over and was dumbfounded when he saw the dying, crimson dragon, on the ground. This was a fish that the boss had specially sent over. If the boss knew about this, he would be finished. Who? The man's eyes revealed out an ominous glint, and a faint killing intent was emitting out from his body. Yihua felt it and was a little surprised. The few movers immediately pointed at the girl. Tang Wei. The man shouted out, and his pair of eyes were filled with murderous intent. That's right, this girl was Tang Wei. Right now, she was dumbfounded, and her mind was in a daze. Tang Wei. Do you know how much this fish is worth? Right now, even if you have money, you won't be able to buy it, it is going to be extinct soon. Tang Wei seemed to be at a loss of what to do. She wanted to explain, but she was panicking to the point that she couldn't speak. At this moment, there was only one person that appeared in her mind, and she felt that only that person would be able to help her. Ignoring the manager's malicious gaze, Tang Wei took out her phone and sent a message. Just that, right after the message was sent out, the manager snatched the phone away and threw it onto the ground fiercely, then used his leather shoes that were made from alligator skin to step on the phone. My phone. Tang Wei choked with sobs. Although this phone only cost about 1,000 RMB, it was still bought with my hard-earned money. Holding onto a pile of phone parts, Tang Wei let out a sobbing sound. This kind of helplessness made one's heart ache. The manager wished that he could slap this brat to death and shouted out angrily, "What are you crying for? How can a lousy phone compare to my fish? Let me tell you, Tang Wei, prepare to work here for the rest of your life." Chinya couldn't bear to watch anymore and pulled onto Yihua, who was at the side. It's about time, if you aren't going, I am going. Yihua revealed out a light smile and stood up. What identity are you going to use? Are you the boss's wife? Go to hell. Chinya rolled her eyes at Yihua. This fellow is really hateful. However, there was a youngster whose movements were even faster than Yihua's. Boss, from the looks of it, this fish of yours isn't dead, right? A youngster who was wearing ordinary clothes walked out, causing Yihua, who was standing up, to sit back down. Student Qi. Tang Wei looked at the youngster who was walking over and cried out in surprise. Qi Shuwen squatted down and consoled, Student Tang Wei, are you all right? Tang Wei's eyes were red and swollen as she shook her head. Student Qi, quickly leave, this matter isn't related to you. Student Tang Wei, no matter what, we are still classmates, if I don't help you, who would help you? Qi Shuwen smiled slightly. This caused Tang Wei to be a bit absent-minded. In her impression, Qi Shuwen was a shy bookworm who rarely interacted with other students in class. But today, Qi Shuwen seemed to have changed into another person. He seemed to be very confident. The manager snorted coldly, you help? What are you going to use to help? Qi Shuwen stood up and said faintly, this fish of yours is completely fine, it just fainted, that's all. Bullshit, it's not even moving. If you have the ability, then slap it and wake it up, I will let bygones be bygones. The manager shouted in disdain. Qi Shuwen smiled but didn't say anything. With a mysterious confidence, he squatted down beside the blood-red dragon and stretched out his hand to caress the fish's body. Qi Shuwen was shocked in his heart. As expected of an arowana that is worth 5 million, it actually still has dragon qi. After a while, under everyone's astonished gaze, Qi Shuwen threw the blood-red dragon into the fish tank at the side. The fish that had a face that was about to die just a moment ago could be seen swimming happily in the water. My God, that youngster really cured the fish. Wow, so mystical, it actually cured. Chapter 42. The manager was also dumbfounded. The fish was actually cured. Bullshit. Classmate Qi, thank you. Tang Wei wiped her beautiful eyes and expressed her gratitude to Qi Shuwen. Qi Shuwen revealed a polite smile. Tang Wei classmate, please don't take it to heart, helping others is my motto. No matter what, I still have to thank you. I'll treat you to dinner tonight. Since Tang Wei has made such a request, I won't refuse. Qi Shuwen smiled modestly. This commoner campus belle seemed to be interested in him. He didn't expect such a thing to happen just by having a meal. Qinyo laughed involuntarily. Yi Hua, there is someone who is faster than you and is better at acting cool than you. Yi Hua remained silent. However, this young man was the second person that he had seen who was capable, and the first person that he had seen was Long Outyin. Suddenly, a black shadow appeared at the entrance of the shop and pushed the door open with an oppressive aura. Lil Tang. Uncle Wei, that's right. Tang Wei's message for help was sent to Wei Chang. In Tang Wei's heart, Wei Chang was the man who cared about her. Right now, with a wronged expression, she threw herself into Wei Chang's embrace and cried bitterly. Qi Shuwen was stupefied. What is this situation? Who is this security uncle? Is he Tang Wei's uncle? It seemed like that was the case. His niece was being bullied, and as an uncle, he had to come and help. Yi Hua, isn't that your security captain? Wow, brother-in-law, your little brother is so handsome, Uncle Appa, Qin Yutong said exaggeratedly. Yi Hua didn't expect that Wei Chang would suddenly appear, and the reason why he came was actually because of this girl. This caused Yi Hua to be very surprised. When did my subordinates become so conscientious? Wei Chang patted the girl in his arms to comfort her. Lil Tang, tell me, who bullied you? Actually, Wei Changlai's reason was very simple. His little brother was being bullied, and as the big brother, he should step forward to teach the other party a lesson. This was what he had done in the past. Uncle Wei, it's fine now. Tang Wei blushed a little and broke away from Wei Chang's embrace. Why are you crying for no reason? Wei Chang was in a bad mood. When he saw the phone parts in Tang Wei's hand, his brows immediately wrinkled. Although Tang Wei came to Leisure Bar not long ago, Wei Chang knew that Tang Wei was very thrifty and would walk to work every day. What happened to the phone? Wei Chang asked. Tang Wei felt that she shouldn't trouble Uncle Wei, so she said, I accidentally broke it. I say, what's wrong with a broken security guard like you? Why are you standing up for a beauty? The manager was already very unhappy. When he saw a man in a security uniform shouting in his store, he instantly became angry again. Looking at this scene, Qingya was very worried. Yi Hua, quickly go over, it seems like they are going to fight. I'm fine. In this world, there are very few people who are able to defeat Wei Chang, and the number of people who are able to defeat Wei Chang can be counted with 2 hands. You! Qingya said angrily, then stood up and prepared to go and help Wei Chang. However, right after she stood up, she was pulled into Yi Hua's embrace. Just watch. Ayaya, I can't stand you two anymore, showing off your affection in public. Qing Yutong covered her eyes and teased. With a red face, Qing Ye struggled a few times. This scoundrel, he still said that he wouldn't touch the same woman a second time. What nonsense, look at how many times he has already taken advantage of me. The main reason was still because of the child, causing the two of them who were from different worlds to be together miraculously. Without the child, Yi Hua wouldn't even care about Qing Ye, and Qing Ye wouldn't even turn around to look for Yi Hua. However, fate is always so mysterious. This was also the reason why Yi Hua didn't try to control it, because it would always bring him a surprise. Just that, right now, he was a bit annoyed by this kind of surprise, because this woman was slowly changing him. Just like that weak little human who dared to speak arrogantly to me just now. If it was a few months ago, he wouldn't even be able to see tomorrow's sun. Of course, I wouldn't make a move on him, but right now, I don't even want to care about him. Could it really be like what Wei Chang said, that this is human's love? Yi Hua wasn't very sure and needed to investigate further. It has only been a few days. I am a supreme overlord, and she is just an ordinary human. Although she is considered to be outstanding among humans, she is still not qualified to be a match for me. It should be because of the child. It should be like this. Yi Hua, who was hugging on to Qing Ye, silently thought. Although he was thinking, his hands were still caressing onto Qing Ye's abdomen, causing Qing Ye's face to turn completely red. Qing Yutong couldn't stand it anymore. Even if the two of you want to look for trouble, can you go to the toilet? It's fine if this manager doesn't respect me, but what right does he have to insult Uncle Wei? Manager, what right do you have to insult people? So what if I am a security guard? At least I am stronger than you who is dressed in a suit. Tang Wei changed from her weak attitude just now and actually argued with the fierce manager in front of her. The manager snorted in disdain. A lousy security guard and a poor woman, both of you scram, don't affect my business. At this moment, the surrounding customers were a bit displeased. This was a very unique restaurant. After all, the food that was cooked was quite delicious, but right now, they felt that this kind of good restaurant was ruined by this manager. Sigh, I won't be coming next time. I didn't expect that this kind of person would be able to become a manager and ruin the reputation of this restaurant. That's right, when he is insulting others, he is also insulting himself. Looking down on others. When the manager heard the discussions in the surrounding, he was angered to the point that his face turned red and he couldn't say anything. The anger in his stomach could only be vented on the two people in front of him. It is all because of them. Wei Chang, this man, wanted to beat Tang Wei up. Xiao Tang, stand there and don't move. Uncle Wei. Tang Wei shouted out worriedly. She was worried that Uncle Wei would be beaten up by the manager. After all, this manager looked very strong, even his suit was bulging out from his muscles. The amount of human blood that Wei Chang's hands had been dyed with was already uncountable. Following Yi Hua to battle all over the world, Wei Chang had repeatedly set glorious records, and of course, the record of eating humans was a record. There was once when Wei Chang devoured all of the humans in a million city, and the other members of the 7 deadly sins were all stupefied when they saw that. In terms of quantity, among the 7 deadly sins, Wei Chang was the most ruthless. Did you break Xiao Tang's phone? Wei Chang was being stubborn again. Yi Hua shook his head. It's still the same as before. I broke your MP. The manager was unable to bear it any longer. He raised his fist and punched towards Wei Chang's forehead. Qi Shuwen, who was at the side, was prepared to help. After all, Wei Chang was Tang Wei's uncle. If I help him, it would also be considered as me helping Tang Wei. Paw! Before the fist even arrived, the manager's face was already slapped. The strength of this slap was just right. It won't send the manager's head flying, and it won't knock him down either. it will only make him feel humiliated. Yihua went into a daze. This move of Wei Chang's is not bad, the control of strength is just right, not bad. You dare to hit me, do you know who I am? Paw. The other side of the manager received another slap, and his face was filled with disbelief. I was actually slapped by a security guard. Did you break Xiao Tang's phone? None of your business. Paw. Chapter 43. Paw. Try hitting me again, do you know who is my backer? Paw. My backer can poke you to death with just a finger. Paw. My backer, paw. My backer, paw. It was smashed by me. The manager was actually beaten to tears by Wei Chang. This is what it means to be arrogant. No matter how powerful your backer is, I will still slap your face. Other than Yihua, everyone else was stupefied. This security guard had simply refreshed their worldview. Although it was very satisfying, but he was still too impulsive. Now that he is satisfied, has he ever thought of the consequences? Qi Shuwen was also very surprised. This uncle of Tang Wei is not simple, the speed at which he hits people is extremely fast, almost catching up to my hand speed, seems like he is a martial artist. And right now, Tang Wei's heart was intoxicated. Uncle Wei actually took the risk to help me vent my anger, I am really too touched. When the other party said that I have a powerful backer, Uncle Wei was still not afraid, this is what a real man is. Yihua, this employee of yours is too ruthless. Qin Yutong finished her big sister's words. Yihua said faintly, you all have never seen the more ruthless side of him, right now, he is just messing around. Brother-in-law, can I trouble you to get rid of this bad habit of acting cool? Qin Yutong poked her brother-in-law and said while beaming. In actuality, I just like to see brother-in-law silently acting cool, it is too interesting. Qin was currently still sitting in Yihua's embrace and said calmly, your brother-in-law also suffers from acting cool after smoking syndrome, every time he finishes smoking, he would have to act cool for a bit. Ah, brother-in-law actually has this kind of syndrome, can it be cured? Qin pouted her mouth, from what I see, this is a terminal illness, there is no cure. Paw. A slap firmly smacked onto Qinya's perky butt, and the latter was smacked silly. Qin Yutong cried out in surprise, big sister, seeing this scene, I suddenly recalled the scene when you were spanked by your father when you were young. Ha ha ha. Yihua suddenly laughed out loud, this kind of laughter seemed to have a demonic nature, causing everyone to look towards his direction. Qinya wished that she could seal her little sister's mouth, immediately left Yihua's embrace and sat at the side to calm down. This time, Qin Yutong was really stupefied. What did I say just now, to actually make my cold and aloof brother-in-law let out such a laugh, and big sister who was bashful and angry, what is going on? When Wei Chang saw Yihua who was laughing loudly, his heart sunk. I wonder if his honor is satisfied with my performance just now. No way. He had to show off a little more and show that he had brains. When Tang Wei saw the boss and the lady boss. I can't even tell which one is the lady boss. It can't be that both of them are the lady boss, right? However, this doesn't matter, having Uncle Wei is enough. The way I feel towards the boss is just like having a small fan. Xiao Tang, how much is the phone? Wei Chang was very alert now, like a primary school student taking an exam. Tang Wei seemed to not want to cause trouble for Wei Chang, and said, Uncle Wei, forget it, it's not worth much money. Paw. Wei Chang gave the manager another slap, and the latter said aggrievedly, I didn't say anything just now. Your eyes are speaking. Wei Chang said coldly. I feel that what I did just now would be able to satisfy his honor. After all, I am able to discern people's thoughts from their body language. The manager really wanted to die, but he didn't have time to think and immediately closed his eyes. Now you don't have an excuse to beat me. Pa. The manager was in despair. Why, Wei Chang said gravely, you had body language just now. After finished speaking, the manager immediately sneaked a peek at his honor. Being able to understand other people's body language, I should be able to add some points, right? The manager swore that I definitely didn't move just now. This damn security guard was just finding an excuse to beat me up. Pa. Drops of tears slid down the firm face of the manager. The manager held onto his face and said while choking with sobs, I closed my eyes just now, and I didn't move at all. Why did you? You were speaking in your heart. Wei Chang felt that he had passed the test, being able to understand other people's minds. Qing Ye and Qing Yutong were about to cramp up from laughing. This handsome uncle is too funny. You have already beaten others to the point of despair, and there is no other reason for you to beat others up. A trace of a smile appeared on the corner of Yi Hua's mouth. Wei Chang's performance today is not bad. Being able to understand how humans think from all aspects can be counted as a small improvement. Xiao Tang, how much is the phone? Wei Chang turned around and asked lightly. Tang Wei was currently in a drunken state. Uncle Wei was very cold when he was beating me up, but he was still so gentle towards me. Ah. Is Wei Chang's expression a gentle one? It doesn't seem like it, right? No matter what, in Tang Wei's eyes, Wei Chang looked like this. 1888, Tang Wei said in a low voice. Wei Chang nodded his head, compensate me. Big brother, you should have said it earlier, isn't it just money? If you had said it earlier, I would have compensated you. How big of a matter is this? What's the matter? Why are you making such a ruckus? Don't you know that I am receiving a distinguished guest? A middle-aged man could be seen walking down slowly, and behind him was a young man and a young woman. The man was handsome, wore a custom-made white suit, and the watch on his wrist should be an Abbey Millennium Series watch. The watch was made of 18K rose gold, and it gave off a strong sense of heroism. The price of the watch was a terrifying 8 digits. The woman was incomparably beautiful. She had a devilish figure, her exquisite face was filled with the colors of an Oriental woman, and her expression was indeed very gentle. The dress that she was wearing was very unique, and from the looks of it, it was also custom-made. On her spotlessly white wrist, there was also a rose gold watch. It should be a couple's watch. Seeing that his savior had arrived, the manager did not care about the risk and rushed in front of Zhou Yi, hugged onto Zhou Yi's leg, pointed at Wei Chang and said while kneeling, Zhou Yi, he hit me. Zhou Yi's face immediately darkened by half. This shop was opened in partnership with a very mysterious person. It's just that the other person was low profile and did not like to open a big shop. That was why he opened the shop on such a scale. If he was the one who opened the shop, it would definitely be a high-end shop. But his own man was actually beaten into a pig's head, and most importantly, he even ran to his parents like a child to complain. His face was completely lost. You can scram now, Zhou Yi said in a deep voice. This kind of person is completely useless, he doesn't even have the courage to fight back. The manager looked at Zhou Yi with teary eyes. Why did it become like this? Is it wrong for me to be unable to win? Is it wrong for me to bring out my backer? Is it wrong for me to ask for help when I am unable to win? Why are all of you like this? I don't want to play anymore. Zhou Yi, your man is very interesting, the young man at the back said with a slight smile. Zhou Yi sighed, young Master Xiao, Madam Xiao, I have let the two of you witness a joke. Nangong Sini smiled sweetly and did not say anything. Every single movement of hers revealed the demeanor of a big shot. Looking at the person who came down, Qingya was slightly surprised. Yi Hua sensed it. What's the matter? Yi Hua looked over. This man's looks are not bad, and the woman is also not bad. However, compared to my woman, they are far from being comparable. Do you know where the difference is? Because Chinya is my woman, she is born to be above everything else. Chapter 44. Qin Yutong ate the fresh and tender fish meat, and said curiously, "Big sister, this can't be your ex-boyfriend, right?" Upon hearing what Chinya said, Yihua's face immediately darkened. While waiting for Chinya to give an explanation, "I don't mind making this ex-boyfriend of mine bleed on the spot." "Yihua, don't listen to Yutong's nonsense," Chinya hurriedly explained. However, after she finished speaking, she immediately scolded herself in her heart. Why did I have to explain to him, and even so quickly? Qin Yutong pouted her mouth. From the looks of it, big sister is indeed interested in brother-in-law. Tell me what happened? That's right, that's right. Sis, don't keep us in suspense. Chinya let out a sigh of relief, then looked at the man and woman who were not far away and said, "This man is called Xiao Yi, a member of Zijin City Xiao family. To be precise, he is an illegitimate child. I heard that he was chased out of Xiao family back then, but a few years ago, he suddenly rose to power, and even married Nangong family's big miss and established Dragon God Corporation. He is Xiao Yi. I have also heard about it. I heard that he has a lot of wives." Qin Yutong added. "Many wives? How could such a man have so many wives? Even I, the Supreme Overlord, only have one wife. What right do you have to have a lot of wives?" He glanced at his sister-in-law. She was pleasing to the eye. "Brother-in-law, what kind of look is that? I am a woman from a good family." Qin Yutong came over and covered her chest with both of her hands, just like a girl who was being molested. Chinya couldn't be bothered to say anything to Yihua. My younger sister just likes to mess around, and she completely didn't know that this time, Yihua indeed had such thoughts. "Sister, why aren't you saying anything? Brother-in-law has taken a fancy to his sister-in-law. Don't you care about it? All right then, I don't need you to give me condoms anymore. I want to have a baby with brother-in-law." Seeing that his big sister did not have any reaction at all, he immediately hugged onto Yihua's arm. Chinya couldn't help but want to take off her shoes and cover herself up. Yihua expressed that his sister-in-law's development is not bad, and she is a bit stronger than Chinya. Now, Lord Jiu was very curious. Who dared to cause trouble in his territory? Didn't they know how the word death was written? When he saw that familiar blue uniform and that face, Lord Jiu was stunned. Looking at Jiu Yi who was walking over, Tang Wei was very afraid as she grabbed onto Wei Chang's sleeves. Back then, I heard from my colleague that this Jiu Yi is someone who can cover the sky with one hand in Long and City and is extremely arrogant, but I never expected that this shop was actually this Jiu Yi's shop. He had caused Uncle Wei to suffer miserably. I heard that only the boss is able to suppress Jiu Yi, but why isn't the boss stepping forward? Wei Chang looked coldly at the three people walking towards him, without a trace of fear. When Xiao Yi saw Wei Chang, he recalled his past experiences and revealed a smile. Nangong Sini seemed to know what her man was smiling about. She poked Xiao Yi's waist and the latter hugged his wife's waist. Qin Yutong clicked her tongue a few times. F***K, why are you people so shameless, showing off your love no matter where you go? Go and find one then. Qin Yi said tenderly. Qin Yutong blinked her beautiful eyes. I want brother-in-law, big sister, give me half. Take it. I'll give them all to you. Really? Chinya fiercely rolled her eyes at her little sister. Can't you be a bit more mature? You are already a movie queen, yet you are still acting like a child. Looking at Wei Chang in front of him, Lord Jiu didn't know how to address him. He was the subordinate of that strange boss. Could it be that he should call him big brother? But he felt so embarrassed. So it's you. I still haven't properly thanked you for the matter last time. Lord Joe straightforwardly retreated in order to advance. Last time, it was indeed Wei Chang who let Yi Hua in. What he said was not false. Wei Chang slightly frowned. It's you. Ah. Everyone present was stupefied. This security guard actually came into contact with Lord Joe. What's going on? And looking at Lord Joe's posture, it seems like he has the intention to curry favor with him. Lord Joe's actions caused even Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini who were behind him to be slightly startled. This Lord Joe is indeed outstanding in Longthan City. Since I came to invest in Longthan City, I naturally have to come and meet this local tyrant. However, this kind of person is actually afraid of a security guard. Xiao Yi thought of himself. I want to see if you are really like me or if you are pretending. Xiao Yi's gaze became serious and immediately looked towards Wei Chang. However, the result was disappointing. Wei Chang was just a normal person. Yi Hua and Wei Chang both felt it. I didn't expect this man to be a bit interesting. There is actually a familiar smell coming from his body. In such a small shop, two people appeared at the same time. Yi Hua felt that he did not come out for nothing this time. This man can be considered to be of high grade, it's just that the smell coming from his body made me feel disgusted. You came at the right time, compensate me. Wei Chang said indifferently, not having the slightest bit of intention to give face to Lord Joe. Lord Joe was very embarrassed. Even if I have to offend the two people behind me, I don't dare to offend this person. Lord Joe laughed lightly and said, everyone, my shop has some matters to take care of. Today's fees will be completely waived. Since Lord Joe had already spoken till this point, the people that were still sitting felt embarrassed to sit down and watch the show. After all, they still had to give face to Lord Joe. Not long later, everyone left, even Qi Shuwen left. Right now, I don't want to go and provoke this kind of big shot, so I obediently went to the sea to eat shrimps. Miss, my shop has some private matters to take care of. A waiter came to Yi Hua's table and said politely. Waiving the fees for this table was very painful. After we finish eating, we will naturally leave. Qin Ye said indifferently, I really don't understand why Yi Hua's employees are so arrogant. Qin Yutong was very unhappy. The show had just started. How can I leave just like that? Don't worry, I won't forget about your money. My brother-in-law has plenty of it. The waiter was a little displeased. I already waived such an expensive fee, yet you still don't want to leave. However, it wasn't good for me to say anything, so I can only go and report to the waiter. Director Gong, the customer at that table is not willing to leave. The waiter came in front of Zhou Yi and said respectfully. Zhou Yi was currently in a fit of anger. Right now, whoever dares to provoke me will be the one to be unlucky. Every Tom, Dick, and Harry are coming to annoy me. Do they really think that I am that easy to provoke? Turning his head and looking towards a table at the corner, Zhou Ye's chin almost dropped to the ground. My God, I didn't check the almanac when I went out today. The real big boss is actually sitting there and watching the show. If I had shouted out just now, just imagine how serious the consequences would be. When Zhou Yi saw the woman beside the big boss, he couldn't help but sigh. No wonder he didn't even want the woman that was delivered to his doorstep. Where else can I find this kind of woman? Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini also saw Yi Hua's table and went into a slight daze. They felt that these three people were a bit interesting. Zhou Yi swallowed his saliva, then walked over with a respectful expression and shouted towards Yi Hua, boss. This word, boss, was clearly heard by everyone present. Other than Wei Chang, who was not surprised, everyone else was stupefied, even Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini. The two of them were guessing in their hearts, could it be that the boss behind this Zhou Yi is him? Looking at Zhou Ye's respectful expression, it seems like it is indeed so. Chapter 45. But this middle-aged man in front of him actually called Yi Hua boss with a respectful attitude. he couldn't have recognized the wrong person, right? Right now, Qing Yutong was not fooling around. She was sitting upright at the side, appearing to be very cold and elegant. Adding on the black dress that she was wearing, she was simply extremely sexy. The acting skills of a movie empress was not just for show. Towards this brother-in-law, Qing Yutong was only curious as to why big sister would have a child with him, and wanted to dig out this gossip. Just that, the surprises that brother-in-law brought wave after wave, are really too interesting. Could it be that brother-in-law is a big shot of some organization, and he is hiding in this flower city, and then, on a beautiful night, he came to save the beauty, and big sister was taken care of? The plot should be like this. It must be said that the reasoning ability of the movie queen was too strong. The first half of the story was actually guessed correctly, but the second half was completely wrong. It was her big sister who delivered herself to his door. Xiao Zhou, this restaurant of yours is a bit expensive. Yi Hua said lightly. Calling him Xiao Zhou was giving him face. If he didn't give him face, he would directly tell him to scram. Zhou Ye's expression changed, and he hurriedly said, "My subordinates are not sensible, they didn't know that the boss came to eat." I immediately criticized them. It wasn't easy for me to come out to eat, but my mood was completely ruined. Yi Hua picked up a napkin and lightly wiped the corner of his mouth. That indifferent gaze of his, and every movement he made emitted out a faint aura of a superior. At this moment, Wei Chang couldn't pretend that he didn't see anything, and hurriedly walked forward and shouted, "Boss." Tang Wei also followed behind and shouted, "Boss." Yi Hua placed the napkin on the table. "Xiao Zhou, my employee's phone is broken. Don't worry, boss, I will compensate." Looking at Tang Wei, who was standing behind Wei Chang, Yi Hua said indifferently, "That manager just now was chased away by you, right?" A drop of cold sweat appeared on Zhou Ye's forehead. This boss obviously has a hidden meaning in his words. Why did he bring up that idiot for no reason? There must definitely be a reason. I have to properly figure out the boss's meaning. If I say it correctly, it will naturally be good, but if I say it wrongly, it will be hard to hug onto this thigh. After remaining silent for 3 seconds, Zhou Yi immediately understood Yi Hua's meaning. I also only found out today. I didn't expect that the manager's attitude would be so bad. Xiao Tang, this girl is not bad. She is calm and collected. I definitely think that she can become the manager. As expected of the experienced Zhou Yi, it only took him 3 seconds to understand Yi Hua's meaning. This also meant that the title of Zhou Yi was not for nothing. Tang Wei had a bit of the intention to refuse. After all, being promoted in such a short period of time feels so unreal. Wei Chang was startled. His honor is already standing up for you. If you are to reject him, wouldn't that be bad? Lil Tang, hurry up and thank him. Wei Chang hurriedly urged. Right now, Tang Wei only trusted Wei Chang. She could only nod her head and say, "Thank you, Director Gong." "You are wrong to thank me," Wei Chang reminded again. "Xiao Tang's brain is even worse than mine." Tang Wei cried out in surprise and was a bit flustered. Only after a while did she understand what was going on and said to Yi Hua, "Thank you, boss." Yi Hua said faintly, "Thank him, there is no need to thank me." Tang Wei immediately felt embarrassed. Wei Chang was also having a headache. Could it be that my judgment is wrong again? Alright, the other person has already thanked you, yet, you are still putting on a stern face. Qingye said in a low voice. I obviously wanted to help the other person, yet, I am still acting as if it wasn't my original intention. Yi Hua glared at Qingye. A boss should act like a boss. Don't tell me that I still have to be so mischievous with my subordinates. I have to properly teach Qingye about this. A small matter, a small matter. Zhou Yi smiled apologetically. Yi Hua was rather satisfied with this Zhou Yi. His brain works fast enough. He stood up and said, "After eating, let's go home." Boss, madams, I will go and prepare the car right now. Madams. Qing Ye's face immediately darkened, and Qing Yutong's face immediately reddened. Yi Hua was very calm. My sister-in-law is still under my investigation. Whether or not she is able to become the second madam will depend on her luck. This scoundrel is actually not explaining. He has ulterior motives. Brother-in-law is actually not explaining. Big sister is also not speaking. Could it be that they are planning to? Also perverted. CEO Qing, long time no see. Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini, who had been observing from the side, walked over, and the one who spoke was Nangong Sini, who had a slight smile on her face. Yi Hua took a glance at her. This woman's temperament is not bad, and her overall appearance is not bad. It is a pity that she is not clean. Qing Yi seemed to be searching for her memories in her mind. I don't seem to have any dealings with her, but since the other party has already greeted me politely, I can't be like Yi Hua and ignore her. Madam Xiao, hello. Qing Yi clenched her small fists. Right now, I really want to strangle my little sister to death. She is actually impersonating me. That's right. Qing Yutong was even faster than Qing Yi. She immediately stood up and shook hands with Nangong Sini. This kind of action made even Yi Hua reveal out a trace of a smile. This sister-in-law really knows how to cause trouble. Look at Qing Yi's expression. She is almost unable to hold it in anymore. CEO Xiao, you are still so handsome. Qing Yutong said with a slight smile. She who mingled in the entertainment circle was very good at speaking. Even if she did not know someone, she would still be able to pretend that she knew someone. Just that, Qing Yutong's words made Yi Hua unhappy. As my sister-in-law, there is no need for you to please others. It is fine for you to just wait for others to compliment you. Xiao Yi was also incomparably surprised towards this pair of sisters. The luck of the man in the middle is even better than mine. I am really envious. CEO Qing is still so beautiful. This is. Xiao Yi asked with a smile. He was very curious about the identity of this man. Although Jiu Yi said that this man was the madam's just now, Xiao Yi still didn't quite believe it. He is my husband, Yi Hua, Qing Yutong said magnanimously. Right now, I am disguised as my big sister, so brother-in-law is naturally my husband. That's right. Qing Yi couldn't hold it in anymore, and with an apologetic smile, she stood up. CEO Xiao, Madam Xiao, my little sister likes to mess around, please don't mind her. Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini were a bit puzzled. Just what is the relationship between these three people? Qing Yutong laughed tenderly. Sorry, my big sister is jealous. In actuality, he is my brother-in-law. If you continue to mess around, then go back. Qing Yi snorted coldly. This little sister of mine is getting more and more out of control. Qing Yutong's little face collapsed, then pulled onto Yi Hua, who was at the side, and said pitifully, Brother-in-law, big sister is scolding me. Qing Yi, enough, Yutong is still a child. Yi Hua patted onto Qing Yutong, who had a dumbfounded face, and said calmly. 10,000 monkeys floated around in Qing Yutong's mind. You are the child. Have you ever seen a child with such a good figure? Right now, Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini still hadn't thought of Qing Yutong, the big celebrity, and only felt that these three people were a bit weird. Chapter 46. CEO Qing, when did you get married? You didn't even inform big sister? Nangong Sini faintly smiled. She actually called big sister. It seems like she wants to get closer to her. To Nangong Sini, this was definitely an action that was giving face to Nangong Sini. However, Qing Yi had an indescribable feeling, as if she was at a disadvantage. Why do I have to call you big sister? What does this have to do with you? Yi Hua really wanted to chase the two of them away, but he felt that it would be meaningless if he did that. He really wanted to see how Qing Yi was going to deal with this matter. After being together with me for a few days, it is time for me to change. This woman still dared to call herself sister? Did she eat a bear's heart or a leopard's gall? If it was 1 month ago, Qingya would definitely grab onto this kind of opportunity. However, right now, she didn't have the slightest bit of such a thought. Looking at Yihua, could it be that I have been brainwashed? Madam Xiao, Yihua and I have not had a banquet yet. Qingya gave out a courteous smile. Xiao Yi and Nangong Sini slightly wrinkled their brows. This Qingya doesn't seem to be giving face at all, she is a woman with character. The two of them seemed to be used to it. This kind of woman was just like that, it seemed like she used this kind of method to attract their attention. CEO Qing, tomorrow night I will be holding a banquet. I hope you can give me some face. Nangong Sini changed from her previous gentle tone and invited with a businesslike tone. Qingya nodded her head and did not refuse, all right. Sini, let's go. It's too stuffy here. Xiao Yi said indifferently. Nangong Sini said in a tender voice, CEO Qing, we'll be leaving first. See you tomorrow night. See you tomorrow night. The two of them sat in the Rolls-Royce parked outside. Xiao Yi hugged his wife and unhappily asked, why did you invite such a disrespectful woman? Nangong Axayan said gently, it is precisely because she did not give you face that you invited her. Although it is only a small banquet, the people who came are all trying to curry favor with you. Xiao Yi laughed and lifted his wife's chin. It seems that you are more stingy than me. Only now do you realize how rare it is for me to be alone with you. You have to do your best tonight, I guarantee that I will complete the daily missions and make you wish you were dead. In the dining hall, Qing Yutong burped very unladylike. Big sister, the famous madam of Xiao family wants to address you as a sister, and you really don't give her any face. Yihua stood up and said faintly, there is no need to give face to others, Qingya did very well. Yutong, you should learn from your big sister. Qingya laughed complacently, then immediately became clear-headed. What am I laughing for? It seems like I am a little wife that is being praised. This scoundrel is making fun of me again. Your Honor, do you want subordinate to go and deal with those two people from just now? Wei Chang sent out a private message. People like them who are disrespectful to His Honor should live in hell. Wei Chang, I originally wanted to praise you. Don't always think about fighting and killing. You have to be more humane. A salted fish will forever be a salted fish. Even if you turn over a new leaf, you will still be a salted fish, do you understand? This subordinate is ignorant. Looks like I shouldn't have asked you to deal with the assassin group. Use this time to reflect on human nature. Your Honor is wise, we are far inferior to you. You go back first. Yes. After the two of them finished their private conversation, Wei Chang respectfully said, Boss, I'll leave first. Yihua grunted faintly. Tang Wei seemed to have something to say, but in the end, she mustered up her courage and said, Boss, I think it is better to let someone else be the manager. Yihua wrinkled his brows. Wei Chang thought to himself, this is bad. Xiao Tang, don't anger His Honor anymore. There is still 1 more month before school starts. I was thinking about it just now, I still have to focus on my studies during the day and work at night. Up to you. Yihua said lightly, stopping Zhou Yi from sending them off. Then, he brought along his wife and sister-in-law and walked out of Hitianxia. This meal is still free. Counting the money, I can buy a lot of crayfish with the money. When Zhou Yi saw those big shots leaving, he let out a sigh of relief. I better not bump into this boss again in the future. Uncle Wei, wait for me for a moment, I will go and change my clothes. Tang Wei revealed out a cute smile, just like a little bird that had just obtained its freedom. Wei Chang nodded his head, and not long later, Tang Wei walked over. In actuality, Tang Wei's appearance was really not bad. She was a standard classical beauty, with a spotlessly white and flawless oval face, coupled with that tall and slender figure. No matter where she went, she would be a beautiful scenery. As expected of the school belle, it was also Yi Hua's fault for setting his sights too high. The white dress that Tang Wei was wearing added a hint of fairy-like feeling to her. However, Wei Chang did not have any reaction at all. "It can't be helped. Who asked me to not be interested in women, only interested in eating humans? If it was Lai Gu who tried it, he would definitely be able to make a deal that was worth hundreds of billions." "Uncle Wei, you haven't eaten yet, right? Let me treat you to a meal." Tang Wei held on to her cheap handbag and said with a smile. Wei Chang said, "No need, Xiao Tang, I had just bought some groceries and was preparing to cook for myself." "Really? Uncle Wei, I am not bragging, but the food that I cook is very delicious." "Is that so?" Wei Chang asked puzzledly. Tang Wei nodded her head with a smile. "Of course, I will cook for you and you will know after you eat." "All right then, thank you, Xiao Tang." Wei Chang smiled. In actuality, he did not have any other meaning, but Tang Wei seemed to be very shy and decided to properly understand Uncle Wei. When they arrived at Wei Chang's rented house, Tang Wei discovered that Uncle Wei was actually living alone, and the house was very clean. Once again, Tang Wei expressed her admiration towards Wei Chang and decided that in the future, she would come and cook for Uncle Wei. Wei Chang was completely unaware that he was being pestered by a little beauty, but it must be said that Tang Wei's guts was still rather big, to even dare to get close to Wei Chang. One must know that out of the 7 sins, other than Lai Gu, the other 5 chose to avoid Wei Chang. Because Wei Chang was a one-track-minded person, it was very hard to communicate with him. Returning back to Leisure Bar, Qingya walked to the bedroom and took a nap. Yi Hua did not disturb Qingya and went to the office to watch cartoons. Human nature was still very important. After Qing Yutong washed her makeup, she was cleaning the storage room. After all, there was still 1 more month before she could move out, and she wanted her own personal space. After she finished cleaning the storage room with great difficulty, Qing Yutong wiped off the sweat on her forehead and muttered, "This brother-in-law, he really doesn't know how to love his sister-in-law, not even coming to help." Pushing open the door of the office, a voice immediately rang out from inside the office, causing Qing Yutong to go into a daze. As I wish, Qing Yutong stared blankly at the Calabash brothers on the television, then looked at her brother-in-law who had a serious look on his face. Her worldview was completely destroyed. Such a grown man, and yet, he is still watching cartoons. "Brother-in-law," Qing Yutong shouted out sweetly. If it was someone else, Yi Hua would have mercilessly given that person a slap, but unfortunately, that person was his sister-in-law. Yi Hua replied faintly. Qing Yutong sat beside Yi Hua, then picked up the remote control and directly changed the show. "Brother-in-law, why are you still so childish? Let me introduce a better show to you. I watch it every day." Yi Hua resisted the urge to slap his sister-in-law, to actually change the show without my permission. Even Qingya wouldn't dare to do this. "Here, look at this, it's super good." After choosing the show, Qing Yutong crossed her long and beautiful legs and had a face full of expectation. "You're tuning in to the LoveLore Library YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.